Shauna, just give in to me. Please. I swallowed. She was already working at the ties of her own homespun as she spoke, and I saw where this was headed before I could get a word out. Sister-in-law, don't. I shoved her back on reflex, and in the scramble my hand landed where it had no business landing. My mind went white for a second. She sagged against me with a small sound, all her weight at once, her breath warm and quick at my neck. I'm out of options, Shauna. I'm begging you. She was shaking, the kind of crying held back, so hard it costs everything. Juzi got gored by that cursed boar up the mountain. Lost the leg. We're not going to make it. If you won't take me on, the four of us just sit here and starve. I knew the rest without her saying it. Before all this, she and Juzi had gotten by on his hunting. Meat every few days. Good years by Kaoshan standards. Then the boar. He'd lived, but the leg was gone, and a man who can't hunt or work the fields is no use to anyone here. That left her, one woman, a husband who couldn't get up, a boy and a girl too small to feed themselves, the grain almost gone. In a village like ours there was one road for a household like that, and we both knew what it was. It wasn't the first time she'd come to me about it, but I was 18, and there was a wall in me I couldn't get over. Sister-in-law, I can't do this. My throat was dry. Get up. Put your clothes back on, please. I owed this family everything. My mother died when I was 5, my father when I was 7, and it was Juzi's parents who took me in and kept me from starving in the dirt. To me, Juzi was a brother in every way that counted. I'd moved back to my own falling down house once I was grown, set up on my own, but that debt didn't go away, and I was not going to repay it by sleeping with his wife. Shauna. Juzi already said yes. She lifted her face, wet with tears, and bit her lip. He told me himself, if you're willing, he won't hold it against you. And if you turn me away today, I've got no face left. I might as well dash my head against this wall and be done. I let out a long breath. The truth was I didn't belong to this time at all. I'd come over from a later age, except I'd arrived as a newborn and grown up here, so the village was the only world I'd really known. It was a place out of the 1950s I half remembered. Poor, backward, always hungry. Listen to me. I steadied myself and made my voice hard. Taking you on, no? That's where I stop. But I'm not going to leave you to starve either. Your family is the reason I'm alive. Starting tomorrow, I go up the mountain and hunt, and I feed your house. All of you. The old forest in these years was a treasure house nobody had emptied. Game everywhere, herbs all over the ground. Nobody had outlawed hunting yet. A man with nerve and skill need never go hungry, and might do a lot better than that. And the moment I settled on it, a flat mechanical voice went off inside my skull. Congratulations. You have awakened the all-purpose hunting system. Starter gift, one head-sending hound. Whenever you take game, the quarry is scored automatically, earning hunting points. Scores run to 100. Every 10 points earns 1 hunting point. Rarer quarry scores higher and pays more. Hunting points can strengthen you. Strength, speed, and the rest, or strengthen your spirit beast. That's it. I nearly said it out loud. Other people's systems leveled mountains and boiled seas. Mine handed me a grading rubric and a dog. It didn't answer, and I didn't have room to argue with it, because Chinyu was still pressed against me, that warm, ripe scent of her filling my head. I was 18 and at full blood, and the body is more honest than the will. And through the thin cloth, she'd already felt exactly how honest. I'd said no with my mouth. My body had said something else, and I could see it gave her hope, there in the middle of all that despair. Shauna, if it's hard for you, I could help. Her voice was a thread. Her face was red enough to bleed. That broke the spell cold. I got a grip, pushed her off me onto the edge of the bed, and was out the door before I'd finished talking. Don't. Just give me a minute. Outside, the night air did the rest. I'm going up the mountain right now, I called back. Tonight. She laughed at me. Couldn't help it. A hand over her mouth. The sound clear as water over stones. It cut the heaviness in the room, and somehow made me feel about 12 years old. Shauna, it's pitch dark. What mountain are you going up? She was 26 and not a girl who could be fooled. Black as a pit out there. You fall in a hole, and where do I even start looking? She came off the bed and took my hand before I could stop her, pulling me back inside. Her hand warm, a little unsteady. Besides, you haven't even got a tool. What were you going to hunt with, your fists? My face went hot, because the mountain lion had been an excuse to get out of the room, and she knew it. Not that I was hopeless in the hills. As a boy, I'd gone in with Juzy's father, watched and learned. And at 16, I'd snuck the old man's rifle out and fired it once. The recoil nearly put me on my back. Heh, I just wanted some air, I admitted, scratching my head. Cool off. She understood exactly what I meant by cool off, dropped her eyes, and went pink. Come to the house at first light, she said. Take Juzy's rifle. At the door, she turned and looked at me a long moment. Something complicated in it I didn't want to read too closely. Then ducked her head and was gone into the dark. I sat down hard on the edge of the bed and found my back was damp with sweat. That woman was a torment. I'd nearly not held the line. No, I was going to marry properly someday, with my head up, not get myself taken on, which was nothing a man could be proud of. Broke as I was now, that didn't matter. I had the system. With hunting, I wouldn't just eat meat every meal. I'd get somewhere, a real brick and tile house, even. After that, what girl wouldn't have me? In years when a full belly was a luxury, a house that ate meat at every meal lived like the immortals. I calmed down and talked to the thing in my head. System. The hound you promised me, how do I get it? 2 options. 1. I conjure an adult head center from nothing and give it to you. 2. You pick an existing ordinary dog and I evolve it into one. I chose the second without thinking twice. A top hound nobody had ever seen, appearing from nowhere, would have the whole village asking questions I couldn't answer, and if someone reported me, that was real trouble. Whereas Juzy's big black dog, Shouty-on, was only 4, and already a decent low ser, sharp, half-human in how it read people. Head scenting versus low scenting is mostly something a dog is born with. You hear of one trained up, but about as often as you hear of someone finding gold in the dirt. That one turned Juzy's Shouty-on into a head center. I'd named the mutt myself, years back, Shouty-on, after the old howling skyhound from the stories, hoping he'd grow into something that made the forest flinch. Confirmed. Points spent. Shouty-on has evolved and now recognizes you as master. I went out to the yard, drew a ladle of cold well water, and drank it down in one pull. It put out the last of the heat in me. Then I went back in and slept like the dead. At first light, I was at Juzy's gate. Uncle Zhao's here. Morning, Uncle Zhao. In the yard, his 2 were splitting wood at the block. Ling, the girl, 7. Dang, the boy, 5. The pair of them shorter than the axe, hoisting a nicked blade together and bringing it down on the kindling. It twisted something in me. They should have been underfoot of their parents at that age, not doing a grown man's work. But Juzy was down, and you couldn't nurse a husband and run a house and chop wood all at once. I took the axe out of Ling's hands. Put it down, little Ling. It's dangerous. You'll cut yourself. Let me. She wouldn't let go of the handle, her small face set. I'm not little, Uncle Zhao. I can help Ma now. Her knuckles were white with the effort, and the look in her eyes was far older than 7. Where I came from, a 7-year-old was a kid who knew nothing harder than first grade. Yu hurried out of the kitchen, wiping her hands, and something glad crossed her face when she saw me. You came. Let Ling do it. You've got the mountain ahead of you. Save your strength. She didn't have to say the rest. Hunting was how you ended up like her husband. I'm here for Juzy's rifle, and I'd like to borrow Shouty-on. Got it ready for you. It's inside. She made herself smile. Juzy's awake. Go in and see him. At his name, the smile drained off her face into a grief she couldn't shift. I took a breath and pushed the dim door open. The smell hit first, herbs, and a closed-up heaviness. Juzy lay wasted on the bed, one trouser leg flat and empty, his right arm bound up and slung at his chest. The barefoot doctor said even healed it likely wouldn't have strengthened it again. Shanha, you came. His voice was a hoarse scrape, and he'd gone gaunt, the eyes sunk deep. Brother. The word stuck in my throat, and at it he came apart. This grown man, weeping. He'd shut everyone out since the leg. I was the first he'd let into the room. I've wronged you, he got out. I don't want to ruin a good young man's future. But look at me. I'm done. I'm useless. If you don't think she's beneath you, let her go with you. Carry on your line. I just want the 3 of them to live. He had hold of my arm and was crying like a child who'd lost something he couldn't get back. I closed my hand over his, cold, and my own eyes went hot. Don't talk like that, brother. I made myself say it slow and plain. If it weren't for your mother and father, I'd have frozen or starved years ago. My life came from this house. So hear me. The taking on I won't do. But you're my family, all of you. And from today, this household is mine to provide for. Shanha, thank you. Thank you. He only cried harder, and by the time I came out, he'd cried himself to sleep. I shouldered his rifle, a Type 38 that second uncle had left him. Good range, made for mountain game. Beside it lay 2 craft paper packets of rounds, 15 each, the brass catching the light cold. I cleaned everything for you. Chinyu came from the kitchen, her eyes still red. She'd heard us. Don't get careless up there. I'll bring Xiaodian out. A rattle of chain, and a big-boned black dog shot into the yard. Xiaodian, come. He'd been wild a heartbeat before. At my voice, he bolted straight to me. Didn't jump up, just circled my legs, snuffling hard. And the moment he had the scent of me, he started wagging like we'd known each other years. Sit. He sat, steady in the dirt. I rubbed his broad head. Good. Back up. He stepped backward, unhurried. Stop. His legs locked like they'd been driven into the ground. When I looked up, Chinyu was staring. Shauna, how did you do that? For years in the house, she said, and the dog had never been good for anything but guarding his food and biting strangers, and no one had ever taught him a single one of those commands. Maybe he just took to me. I left it there. It's getting late, sister-in-law. I'll take him up. He'd bonded to me completely and come back from the change-ahead center, rare as anything. It put steel in my spine. The mountains aren't safe, Shanha. Be careful. She'd followed me to the gate, twisting her apron, and the next part came out barely above a whisper. I'll keep your meal warm. Waiting for you. I pretended not to hear the color in it and went, long strides, the dog at my side, into the deep Ileo forest. This wasn't the easy woods outsiders pictured. Older hunters than me had left their lives in here. The trees went up forever and shut out the sun all year, and even men who knew the place only worked the edges, because the old forest held more than venomous things and big cats. The worst danger was the kind that walked on 2 legs, the desperate men who'd gone in and never come out as anything you'd want to meet. I stopped and tore a packet open, thumbing 5 rounds into the magazine. Only 5, then you reload. The bolt went home with a clack, and the cold weight of the thing against my palm was the only thing standing between me and the forest. All right, Xiaodian. Let's see what you're made of. You remember that boar. Find him. I'd come in for one thing. Kill the boar that crippled my brother. He gave a low whine, then lifted his head and read the air, not nosing the ground for tracks the way an ordinary dog would, but locking onto whatever the wind still carried, and broke into a trot into the trees. I went after him, gun up. His stamina was inhuman. 20 minutes in, I was heaving and falling behind, and he'd stop and wait for me, patient, every time the gap opened. Half an hour of that, and a high, vicious bark tore the quiet open. My blood went up all at once. Found it. I checked the bolt and went toward the sound. I pushed through a thicket and sucked in a cold breath. In the clearing lay a black mountain of an animal, a boar so big it didn't look real, 500 or 600 caddies of it, crusted all over in pine resin and grit like armor. Xiaodian was barking himself raw at it, and it hadn't so much as lifted an eyelid, a mutt beneath its notice. All it gave back was white breath out of those nostrils and a low huffing meant to send a dog running. But Xiaodian didn't take it head on. He kept just out of reach, and only when he saw me set up did his nerve come back, teeth bared, the look of something ready to tear in. I leveled the rifle and put it on the boar. Under 100 meters. The old thing caught something on the breeze, gunpowder, danger, and its forehooves started raking the dead leaves, wanting to run but not wanting to turn its back to the dog, wanting to charge but wary of the black tube in my hands. Then it came. It blew straight at Xiaodian, hooves shattering the ground, faster than anything that size had a right to be. I nearly didn't track it. The dog twisted in midair, impossible, and the tusks went past him clean. A boar that misses a charge has to slow and will to build it up again. This one didn't. It carried the momentum into a brutal turn in the mud and came roaring straight at me. I held the Type 38 and stared it down. I could feel the ground going through my boots. 80. 50. Bang. The shot blew the silence apart. The round drove into the boar's back, and the thick-hided thing just took it. It wasn't a killing hit. It only made him angrier. I kept my head. My palm worked the bolt. Pull, push, a smoking casing flicking away, the next round up. Bang. The 2 shots almost on top of each other. The second one I put through the head. He went down where he stood, and his own weight rolled him over and over before he died for good. Adult boar killed. Weight 512 caddies. Score 34. Reward 3 hunting points. Got him. He'd stopped less than 15 meters off, the bell-wide eyes still open and full of meanness. In the moment of it, my head had been empty. No fear, no thought. Just bolt, chamber, aim, fire, one motion. Now, looking at how close he'd stopped, the chill went up my spine and my palms turned wet. A shake of the hand, the muzzle a half-inch high, and that's me lying split open in the leaves. I caught my breath and went to work. It was early autumn, cool, but 500 caddies of meat sitting in its own blood would have every predator for a mile coming to see. Gut it and bleed it now, or lose it. I'd helped Juicy do this in winter, only as the second pair of hands, but I knew the steps. I drew my knife and opened the boar up, and in under 10 minutes had the whole steaming mess of innards out. Nobody around here ate the organs much. Without seasonings to kill the gaminess, they didn't bother. And there were rules to it anyway. The best of it, liver, heart, goes to the dog that hunted with you, his due. The rest you hang in a tree. A little for the mountain god, a little left for the other meat-eaters of Ileo. A rough sort of fairness. I cut a warm slab of liver for Shouty on, who was circling and whining, and he snatched it off behind a rock and tore in. Then I hit the wall I should have seen coming. A boar this size, 2 strong men couldn't drag it out whole, let alone me. Should have brought a sled. I muttered and knocked my own forehead. First trip alone, and all I'd had in my head was the kill. Go back for one now, and it'd be dark before I returned, and the blood here would draw a pack inside the hour. While I was stuck on it, Shoutyan's head came up off the liver. He went still, and a low warning rolled out of his throat. Hackles up, eyes fixed on the trees. When a hunting dog makes that sound, something's coming, and I'd just had my brush with death. So I had the rifle up and the bolt checked before I'd thought about it. Muzzle on the spot he'd marked. Quiet. Just leaves. Then footsteps in the dry litter, getting closer, and 2 shapes came out of the woods. Heaven help me, a boar that big. One of them said, not believing it. Shanha. That you little devil? I saw their faces and the air went out of me. 4th granddad. 6th uncle. Half of Kaoshan is named Zhao. These 2 were 6th uncle, Zhao Jiangwo, and 4th granddad, Zhao Junliang. Not close blood, but the same old stock, near enough to count. They started over and Shoutyan shot forward 2 steps, teeth bared, a thunderhead of a growl in his chest, putting himself between them and his master and his kill. Shoutyan back. They're fine. Go eat. His snarl dropped at once. He gave me a look, then a hard one at the 2 of them, and went grudgingly back to his rock. It left both men gaping. Shanha, isn't that Juicy's dog? Jiangwo pointed after him. Since when does it mind like that? He remembered Shoutyan as a wild low center, a good dog but a willful one, which was why Juicy rarely took him in. It was the last time he did. In fact, that Juicy came back crippled and the other dog came back dead on the boar's tusks, and only Shoutyan came back whole. After that they just chained him in the yard. Maybe he took to me. I said, he minds me now. Before Jiangwo could dig, the older man had crouched by the carcass, looking at the huge skull and the hole in it. Shanha, you shot this. Zhao Junliang was an old soldier off the battlefield, 59, and the most respected hunter in Kaoshan. He knew what he was looking at. I did, and I think it's the one that got Brother Juicy. His head came up, the cloudy old eyes gone sharp. How would you know that? Juicy had gone in alone and nearly died. Only lived by going off a hillock and out of the charge's path, and only got home because Junliang happened on him heading back from his own hunt. Shoutyan found him for me. I couldn't keep a little pride out of it. He's turned head center. That hit Junliang harder than the boar had. Head versus low scenting in a dog is nearly all bloodline. You hear of one trained over, but you'd find gold in the dirt first. He stood and looked at me, then at the dog eating in the distance, and said it half to himself. Shoutyan, a head center. How is that possible? You 2 out hunting, 4th granddad? I moved him off it. He nodded. No luck, caught nothing. Both their eyes went back to the boar. You've got nerve, Shanha, Jiangwo said, half teasing. Came in alone for this. 500 or 600 caddies. Even Junliang wouldn't go after one solo. I gave a sour little laugh. Ignorance, sixth uncle. My head went empty. Bolt, chamber, fire, all by reflex. Thinking back on it now, I've got cold sweat down my spine. Zhang Wo laughed, but Junliang's eyes had lit, and he was looking me over like he'd found something. He'd soldiered, fought, never married, never had a son, and I could see something working behind his face. First time shooting game, isn't it? I've fired a gun before. First time at game, yes. Good lad. You're a born soldier. Killing doesn't come easy, he meant, and to drop a bore that size without your hand shaking takes a hard nerve. A man like that belonged in the army. To Junliang it must have looked obvious. No parents, no ties, bold, steady, a good eye. The army was where I ought to go. Wait, I could enlist. My heart jumped. In these years, soldiering meant army rations, a uniform, real standing. Maybe not riches, but you wouldn't starve, and you could hold your head up. To train, to bleed for the country, win a little glory for the family name. What young man didn't want that? But before it could take hold, Zhang Wo sighed and put it out. Fourth uncle, the rules aren't what they were in your day. Shanha can't, the way things stand. Junliang frowned. Why not? He's the last of his line, no one left. The army won't take a man with no parents, all alone. You marry first, leave an heir. The country was rebuilding. People were the foundation, and recruiting counted it. There's a rule like that now? The light went out of me. Junliang, years in the hills, hadn't known the policy had changed. Zhang Wo was sure of it. He'd seen the recruitment notice at the county himself, days ago, in black and white. Junliang sighed heavy, full of regret. A waste. Such a good seedling, wasted. I came back around fast and put the easy face back on. It's all right, fourth granddad. Guarding the country's good, but so is watching over these hills as a hunter. One man fed, the whole family fed, no strings. He studied me, and I could tell the open way I took it only made him like me more. Enough talk. He waved a hand, all old hunter briskness again. Zhang Wo, Shanha, cut 2 stout poles. We get this out now, before the blood smell brings every jackal in the hills. As I caught the innards I'd hung clean in the tree, and he nodded to himself. The boy has rules, he was thinking. Knows what to respect. No soldier, but a fine hunter, no question. We were back inside 10 minutes with 2 wrist-thick hardwood poles. Lash its hooves. 3 of us. Take turns, 1 push out. We tied the boar on, a pole end on a shoulder at each corner to spread the weight and walk steady. Shouty on home. Take point. His head came up, 1 bark, and he shot to the front, sweeping the trees ahead. The 2 men marveled at it under their breath again. That dog's gone near human. By the time the 3 of us hauled the thing back into Kaoshan, grunting the whole way, the women at the village mouth, stitching sawls, trading gossip, came apart at the sight. Lord above, did they carry back the mountain god's own mount? Look at the size of it. That boar's near a spirit. The crowd swarmed, and seeing Junliang at the head of it, someone was already up front laying it on. Fourth granddad, your skills beyond words. A boar this size. Kaoshan's #1 gun. No mistake. Save my house a couple ounces to taste. Fourth granddad. Praise is cheap, and usually Junliang ate it up and gave out a little meat when the mood took him. Not this time. His old face went red, of all things, and he coughed hard. Enough, quiet down. This boar's not mine. He paused, and in front of all those startled faces, clapped me on the shoulder, sweat-soaked as I was. Shauna shot it. Alone, in the mountains. Zhang Wo and I only carried it down. It was like someone had a hand around every throat at once. The whole village mouth went dead quiet. You'd have heard a pin drop. Every woman staring wide-eyed at the half-grown boy they thought they knew. One of them got it out at last, her voice cracking right up the middle. Goodness, fourth granddad, you wouldn't joke with us? A boar that big, you're telling us Shauna shot it. You 2 out hunting, fourth granddad? I moved him off it. He nodded. No luck, caught nothing. Both their eyes went back to the boar. You've got nerve, Shanha, Zhang Wo said, half teasing. Came in alone for this. 500 or 600 caddies. Even Junliang wouldn't go after one solo. I gave a sour little laugh. Ignorance, sixth uncle. My head went empty. Bolt, chamber, fire, all by reflex. Thinking back on it now, I've got cold sweat down my spine. Zhang Wo laughed, but Junliang's eyes had lit, and he was looking me over like he'd found something. He'd soldiered, Fought. Never married. Never had a son. And I could see something working behind his face. First time shooting game, isn't it? I've fired a gun before. First time at game, yes. Good lad. You're a born soldier. Killing doesn't come easy, he meant. And to drop a boar that size without your hand shaking takes a hard nerve. A man like that belonged in the army. To Junliang it must have looked obvious. No parents, no ties, bold, steady, a good eye. Wait, I could enlist. My heart jumped. In these years, soldiering meant army rations, a uniform, real standing. Maybe not riches, but you wouldn't starve, and you could hold your head up. To train, to bleed for the country, win a little glory for the family name. What young man didn't want that? But before it could take hold, Zhang Wo sighed and put it out. Fourth uncle, the rules aren't what they were in your day. Shanha can't, the way things stand. Junliang frowned. Why not? He's the last of his line, no one left. The army won't take a man with no parents, all alone. You marry first, leave an heir. The country was rebuilding. People were the foundation, and recruiting counted it. There's a rule like that now? The light went out of me. Junliang, years in the hills, hadn't known the policy had changed. Zhang Wo was sure of it. He'd seen the recruitment notice at the county himself, days ago, in black and white. Junliang sighed heavy, full of regret. A waste. Such a good seedling, wasted. I came back around fast and put the easy face back on. It's all right, fourth granddad. Guarding the country's good, but so is watching over these hills as a hunter. One man fed, the whole family fed, no strings. He studied me, and I could tell the open way I took it only made him like me more. Enough talk. He waved a hand, all old hunter briskness again. Zhang Wo, Shanha, cut 2 stout poles. We get this out now, before the blood smell brings every jackal in the hills. As I caught the innards I'd hung clean in the tree, and he nodded to himself. We were back inside 10 minutes with 2 wrist-thick hardwood poles. Lash its hooves. 3 of us. Take turns, 1 push out. We tied the boar on, a pole end on a shoulder at each corner to spread the weight and walk steady. Shouty on home. Take point. His head came up, 1 bark, and he shot to the front, sweeping the trees ahead. The 2 men marveled at it under their breath again. That dog's gone near human. By the time the 3 of us hauled the thing back into Kaoshan, grunting the whole way, the women at the village mouth, stitching sawls, trading gossip, came apart at the sight. Lord above, did they carry back the mountain god's own mount? Look at the size of it. That boar's near a spirit. The crowd swarmed, and seeing Junliang at the head of it, someone was already up front laying it on. Fourth granddad, your skills beyond words. A boar this size. Kaoshan's #1 gun, no mistake. Save my house a couple ounces to taste. Fourth granddad. Praise is cheap, and usually Junliang ate it up and gave out a little meat when the mood took him. Not this time. His old face went red, of all things, and he coughed hard. Enough, quiet down. This boar's not mine. He paused, and in front of all those startled faces, clapped me on the shoulder, sweat-soaked as I was. Shauna shot it. Alone, in the mountains. Zhang Wo and I only carried it down. It was like someone had a hand around every throat at once. The whole village mouth went dead quiet. You'd have heard a pin drop. Every woman staring wide-eyed at the half-grown boy they thought they knew. One of them got it out at last, her voice cracking right up the middle. Goodness, fourth granddad, you wouldn't joke with us? A boar that big, Shauna shot it. Have I any need to talk big? Junliang's mouth turned down, the tone unfriendly, and that quieted them. His standing in the village ran high. He'd come off the battlefield, after all, and what he said, nobody doubted. Shauna's really got the goods now. Shanha, you're 18 this year, aren't you? Not so young. Time to get a wife and warm the bed. A round-faced Annie shoved to the front of me, all warmth. My brother's girl, your age, pretty as anything and quick with her hands. Let me make the match, eh? Off with you. That niece of yours is black as a pot bottom. She'll do for our Shanha? Another wasn't to be outdone and grabbed my arm. This was Auntie Sue, and her eyes had gone bright looking at me. Shanha, listen to your auntie. You know my Shioli, only 3 years older than you. They say it. A wife, 3 years your senior brings gold by the brick. That girl's broad in the hips, made for bearing children. What do you say? In no time they had me hemmed in on every side, a dozen of them talking over each other, near drowning me in spit. In these years, putting food, meat, on the table was the greatest skill there was. Not just anyone could be a hunter. It took nerve and it took ability, and a man who could snatch food from a beast's jaws and walk out of those hills whole was worth more than gold. So just like that, I'd become the catch of every auntie's eye. Aunties, all of you elders, I'm still young. I'm not looking to marry yet. Their enthusiasm had me on the back foot, laughing and retreating. Besides, my pockets are cleaner than my face. No money for a wife. I can barely feed myself. Let me take more game, save up, and we'll talk about it then. I left the door open, though. I wasn't a single man of the 21st century anymore. Here, marrying and raising a family was the road every man walked. And in a country rebuilding and pushing people to have children, you'd never hear the end of it if you stayed a bachelor for life. The village gossip alone would drown you. And the truth was I wanted it too. A wife who'd know when I was cold and when I was hungry, children and grandchildren around me someday, to make the trip worth it. This boy's honest, and he's got a sense of duty. Auntie Sue Chui, rolled her eyes around and clapped. Auntie will see to it. I'll send Shioli over later to tidy your house. Look at the place. Cold stove, cold pots. No woman to keep it. That's no way to live. Her husband had died on the battlefield years back, and she'd been raising 4 children alone, scraping by. If not for the monthly martyr's stipend, they'd have starved. Seeing a promising prospect in me, of course she was keen. Her family and mine were both Zhao, but we'd split off so many generations back it hardly counted as kin. Off with you, old woman. What nonsense are you spouting? Before I could answer, Junliang's eyes went wide and he barked it. Shioli's an unmarried girl, a young man and woman alone. You want that talked about? Don't go ruining the child's name with your loose mouth. In these years, a girl's good name was held dearer than life. Never mind whether I was willing, the wrong rumor would do no one any good. And I was a hot-blooded young man, who'd swear nothing would go off the rails. Su Chui took the dressing down without bristling, still smiling. With her man gone and 4 children's mouths to fill, all on her, she couldn't afford pride. I 4th granddad. I only wanted to bring the 2 young ones together. Calm yourself. As if I don't know your little schemes. Junliang snorted, eyed her sidelong. You want a cut of meat? Say so plainly. Quit going round about it. Send that good-for-nothing of yours over to fetch it. At that, her whole face creased into a grin. Good, good. Thank you, 4th granddad. Zhang Wo and I traded a look, and I finally got loose of the crowd and went on toward home with the boar. The further we went, the more people fell in behind to gawk, until near half the village trailed us like it was market day. Heavens, Shanha, that boar's 500 or 600 caddies if it's an ounce. I've never seen one this fat in all my life, someone said, swallowing hard, eyes locked on the swaying meat. Near enough, I said. Then a sharp voice cut out of the crowd, and an old woman came forward, greed plain on her face. Shanha, look at all that pork. You'll never eat it alone. It'll just sit there. Why not share it round? That's right, Shanha. Too much for one man. Divide it up. Let everyone bask in your luck a little. The crowd stirred, who saw meat more than once in a blue moon. And more to the point, I lived alone, no one to answer to. Not to grab a piece of that would have felt, to them, like cheating themselves. My face went cold, and my mouth curved into something without warmth. 5th aunt. I looked straight at the one who'd started it, my gaze ablade. This boar I bought with my life. So I'll say it here plain. Back when my mother and father were gone, anyone who helped me then, who gave me a bowl of gruel or a steamed bun, come forward now. You'll each take at least 2 caddies of pork home. That made most of them shrink back and go quiet, because most of them had never once spared a thought for the orphan boy whose parents had died. This 5th aunt was one of the worst. Within days of my parents' burial, she'd had her eye on my family's old house and tried to push her man into seizing it. Only her husband, 5th uncle, was a decent enough sort. He'd cursed her up and down for it, and the 2 of them had even come to blows over it. Junliang stood off to the side with his arms crossed, approval all over his face. He'd half feared I was too thin-skinned for a scene like this, and instead I'd cut it clean. Repay a kindness with a kindness. Want a free ride? Not a chance. You hear what Shauna said? He stepped forward, swept the crowd with a hard look. What are you gawking at? Get on home, the lot of you. And at his bark they scattered. Only the named fifth ant stayed, with a few of the village's layabouts, planting themselves there in case I went soft at the end and handed something over. A slovenly middle-aged man swaggered out. Shanha, your fifth ant's got a point. All that meat, you'll never finish it, it'll just rot. Spare us fellows a bit, and we'll remember the favor. This was Zhao Dabiao, Lazy Biao. They called him. A thorough good-for-nothing who let his own fields go to weeds, and who, once he set his eye on a household with something good, would park himself at the door till dark unless he got fed. Zhang Wo had a temper, and seeing Lazy Biao out cadging again set it off. Before I could speak, he slammed his pole end into the ground and pointed at the man. Lazy Biao, are you itching for a beating? Lazy Biao sneered and stuck his head right out. Go on, then hit me. If you don't cheat me out of my own shorts, I'm your son. Zhang Wo's hand tightened white on the pole. He'd have loved to lay it across the man's skull, but bringing it down for real, he didn't dare. He had old and young at home depending on him. Trading his life for a layabouts wasn't a bargain. Seeing he wouldn't swing, Lazy Biao only got bolder, dug a little finger in his nose, blew a contemptuous breath, and jeered. No nerve? Then stand aside. What are you puffing up at me for? While Zhang Wo huffed, I took the pole out of his hands. I looked at Lazy Biao, calm, a thin smile on my face. Lazy Biao, there's only me in my house. One man fed, the whole family fed. I beat you to death. Worst case, I go to prison, and I'll wear it. Don't believe me? Let's try it. I drew a line across the dirt with the pole. Cross that line today, and I'll put you in the ground. Go on, try. I didn't shout, didn't carry on. I said it in the flattest voice I had. He stared at the line, then at me, and found nothing in my eyes. No anger, no heat, just a flat, bottomless calm. The indifference of a man to whom a life weighs about as much as grass. He worked out, slowly, that I meant it. He stood there a long while and didn't dare cross. In the end, he caved. Fine, Shanha, you've got nerve. He went looking for a way to climb down with his pride. Have it your way, and may you never get a wife as long as you live. He'd meant to throw a parting curse and go, but that line crossed a wire in me, because it was a bald threat. I dropped the pole and swung the rifle around off my back. Bolt, chamber, aim, all in one motion. A pole, even if it killed him, would draw at most a manslaughter charge. A few years inside and you're out. One village, the dead man done with. The headman would cover it to keep Kaoshan's name clean. A gun was another thing entirely. The law was still half-built, but since the start of the decade there'd been a criminal code draft, and willful murder carried death. Shanha, put it down. Don't be rash. Jun Liang nearly lost his soul, lunging to grab the gun. He'd been to war. He could feel the killing intent on me wasn't an act. 18 years old, throwing his whole life away over a piece of human garbage, not worth it. But my arm might as well have been cast iron. Heave as he might, it didn't budge. Lazy Biao, you damned fool. Unable to wrench the gun free, he threw himself in front of the muzzle and cursed the man instead. What did you have to provoke Shanha for? He's young and hot-blooded. There's nothing he won't do. You tired of living? Lazy Biao's legs had gone to water at the sound of the bolt. He swallowed and turned to run, and I put a round straight up into the sky. Take one step and I'll kill you, I said cold. The shot left every ear in the yard ringing and the sharp reek of powder hanging in the air, and it broke whatever nerve he and the layabouts had left. They dropped where they stood, and fifth ant with them, faces white as paper, not daring to breathe. Shanha, I was wrong. I was just running my mouth. Lazy Biao went down on his knees with a thud. Pay me no mind. I'll never dare again. I'm not even a man. Treat me like a fart and let me go. A bad life beats a good death, and men like him feared dying most of all. His kind only ever bullied the weak and folded before the strong, and I knew it cold. Give such a man an inch, and he climbs right up your face. Shanha, hear your fourth granddad. Put it down. Jun Liang was truly rattled now. He hadn't reckoned Lazy Biao a fool, and me a bigger one. Lazy Biao, first time and last. I'd flipped it on him now, doing the threatening. Provoke me again, and you'd best sleep light at night. Get out. Yes, yes, I'll never dare again. I'm going. He scrambled off on all fours, a sorry sight. Done with him, I turned to the rest of the idlers. They bolted without a word, fled my yard like the place was on fire. Last, I came to Fifth Ant. Well, Fifth Ant, Shall I cut you 2 caddies to take home? A while ago, she'd have jumped up clapping and complained 2 caddies was too little. Now the words landed on her like a devil's whisper. She scrambled up, scraping out a smile worse than crying, and backed away stumbling. No, no need, Shanha. Your fifth uncle's waiting on me to cook. Come eat at ours, another day. And she ran for it, terrified that a slow foot would earn her a bullet. I curled my lip and spat after them. Gutless, the lot of them. When they were all gone, Junliang let out a long breath and found his back soaked through. He clapped my shoulder, scolding me in a complicated voice. You wild thing. Over a lazy biao, you'd really throw yourself away. The blood ran a few generations apart, but I was still old Zhao stock, his grandson's generation, and the truth was he liked me from the heart. Able, full of fire, and a fine hand at the hunt. Kaoshan's #1 gun someday, for certain. Fourth granddad, a man like Lazy Biao only bullies the soft and folds before the hard. Don't put him down good and proper once, and he's back at my door next time. I had the easy grin on again, as if the cold killer of a moment ago had been someone else. Zhang Wo backed me from the side. That's so, fourth uncle. Shan is not reckless, he only meant to scare Lazy Biao. Junliang's sharp eyes cut to Zhang Wo, and inside, he shook his head. A man who'd never rolled through a storm of gunfire was still green. He couldn't smell death when it was in the air. Junliang had stood at too many edges between living and dying not to tell, almost on sight, the difference between a man blustering and a man who'd truly turned to killing. That cold, cutting thing on me a moment ago had been no bluff. It was a hunter's resolve once the quarry's locked, the calm and the madness of a man ready to put a round through Lazy Biao's skull. He hadn't been scaring anyone. He'd meant to kill. Fourth granddad, sixth uncle, don't stand there. Each of you come cut 50 caddies to take home. My voice pulled him out of it. There's an unwritten rule among hunters. Helping carry a kill down is goodwill, and 10 or so caddies for the trouble is the proper return. 50 had Zhang Wo stunned. Shanha, this won't do. We just lent a hand. How is that worth so much meat? He waved both hands, his dark face all unease. The boar was mine, one with my life. He couldn't bring himself to take such a cut. Enough of that, you spineless thing. Junliang had no such scruples. He walked up and slapped the great carcass, feeling the firm muscle under the hide. This boar went 500 or 600 caddies alive. Bled and gutted, there's still better than 400 of clean meat left. Shanha alone, even eating it every meal, can't finish it. He drew his hunting knife and didn't stand on ceremony. Circled the boar half a turn, his eye narrowing, and then knife to flesh, clean and sure. The blade ran along the grain and around the bone, and in short order 2 big slabs marbled fat and lean came away whole. He hefted them, 100 caddies on the nose. An old hunter's hand is its own scale. Shanha, get the rest dealt with quick. Give away what's to be given, salt down the rest. He pushed Zhang Wo's 50 caddies toward him. It's early autumn, still warm. Fresh meat won't keep but a few days before it turns. Got it, fourth granddad. The more he saw of me, the more he took to me, brave, sharp, hard when it counted, a born hunter's mold. He shouldered his meat and called to Zhang Wo. We're off. Anything comes up, you find me at home. With the 2 elders gone, I shut the gate and picked the heavy butchering knife back up. The yard was thick with blood smell and meat scent mixed, a few flies droning round. I meant to keep 100 caddies, send 100 to Brother Zhuzi's, and split the rest among the neighbors who'd held out a hand when I was at my worst. I was bent over the work, sweat sliding off my brow, when a timid shape edged into the gateway. A girl, skin a sickly white from too little sun, slight enough a gust would tip her over. 2 thick black braids, the ends a little dry, her head down, both hands clutching the hem of her clothes, hovering at the door, not daring to come in. I looked up and knew her. Sister Shioli, you came. I set down the knife, easy smile back. Come in. I was just about to bring your family some meat. It's already cut. It was Auntie Sue's daughter, Zhao Shioli. I'd figured Auntie Sue would send her son. I hadn't thought she'd send the shy girl herself. My calling her name only made Shioli more nervous. She sidled in, voice thin as a gnat. Shanha, my ma said we can't take your things for nothing. I'll wash your clothes, tidy your house. And she made to roll up her washed pale sleeve, baring a thin wrist. Sister Shioli, what are you doing? I couldn't help laughing and stepped up to stop her. It's 2 caddies of pork. It's not worth all that. If you don't mind it being so little, then take it and don't stand on ceremony. At that, 2 clouds of color flew up on her pale cheeks, like peach petals fallen on snow. She stood there flustered, her 2 forefingers winding together as if they'd not. The sight of her softened something in me. I lifted a cut slab from the board, ran a straw cord through it, and put it in her hands. I said, it's nothing, so it's nothing. Take it and get home. Your mother's waiting. I knew how things stood at her house. Her father killed at the front, Auntie Sue raising her and a younger sister and 2 little brothers alone, hand to mouth. Going by how undernourished Shirley looked, she likely rarely got a full meal. Shanha, thank you, she said, small, and finally worked up the courage to flick her eyes up at me for half a second, then spun and ran off like a startled fawn. The heavy pork clutched to her, not once looking back. I watched her go, blank a moment, then laughed to myself. The girls of this era really were sweet to the point of innocence. I shouldered the 100 caddy slab and headed for Brother Juzy's, and before I left I told Xiaodian, crouched at the gate, mind the house. Anyone tries to barge in, bite them. He lifted his head and barked twice, full-throated, like he'd taken the order. A little while, and I was at Juzy's. I'd barely set foot in the yard when a small shape came at me like a whirlwind. Uncle Shauna. It was Zhao Ling, her eyes fixed dead on the thing on my shoulder, and then a shriek of delight. Meat? So much meat. Her mouth all but watering, eyes shining, as if it weren't raw pork but the finest dish in the world. Hearing the girl, Qin Yu came quick out of the main room, and when her eyes hit the huge red slab on my shoulder she froze, a hand to her mouth, disbelief all over her. Shauna, what meat is this? How is there so much? She'd likely never seen this much heaped in one place. In years when a full belly was a luxury, meat was a far-off dream, and since her husband was crippled, she'd near forgotten what it tasted like. It's wild boar, sister-in-law. I grinned and set the slab down square on the outer room board. The whole table gave a dull thud. Big one. I brought you 100 caddies. Take your time with it. What you can't eat soon, smoke it, and it'll keep a long while. She came to herself, snatched a clean towel, went up on her toes and gently wiped the sweat from my brow and neck, then poured me a big bowl of cool water. When I took it, my hand brushed her cool fingertips, and she pulled back as if shocked, color rushing up her face. I didn't think much of it. I was parched and drank the bowl down in one go. Huh. I let out a satisfied breath and looked over at her. Sister-in-law? What's wrong? Your face is so red. Are you ill? Qin Yu ducked her head and turned away, flustered. I'm fine. I didn't dwell on it. I'll go look in on Brother Juzy. I crossed the outer room, lifted the heavy cotton curtain, and went into the inner room. That faint medicinal smell and the closed-up staleness of long sickbed, sharp against whatever young freshness I'd brought in with me. Juzy lay wasted on the Kong, eyes blank on the ceiling beam. Every word from outside had carried into him. At my step, he turned his head with effort, and when he saw it was me, a little light came back into the dead stare. Shanha, you took game? His voice was a dry rasp, full of disbelief. First time I'd gone in alone, and I'd come back loaded. I went to the Kang's edge, a boy's pride and a brother's comfort both in me. Aye, brother. That beast that gored you. That boar. I killed it. It hit him like a thunderclap. His eyes went wide, and out of that dead body came a sudden, startling strength. He struggled to sit up, wrenched the wound, and bared his teeth at the pain. Shanha, say it again. What did you do? I steadied him gently against the cold earthen wall, tucked the quilt, and told it all out. How I'd gone in, how Xiaodian had found the boar, and I'd put it down. At first, hearing his brother had avenged him. The thing that had pinned him to a sickbed for the rest of his life finally dead. The grievance and the unwillingness and the pain all broke their banks at once, and the tears rolled down his thin face. A man past 20, crying like a lost child. When it eased a little, he wiped his eyes and caught on the other thing. Xiaodian turned head center. For years he'd raised that dog, and he knew its temper best. Willful, never tamed, a low center at most. Now, in my hands, the top kind. He couldn't help marveling. Looks like Xiaodian really does have a bond with you. I only smiled and left it. The system was the one secret I had, the thing that would carry me through these lean years, and not a word of it could go to anyone. Juzi looked at my face, and his eyes turned complicated. The words came to his mouth and went back down twice. Shanha, your sister-in-law, he was a useless man now, by his own reckoning, unable even to feed his wife and children, and these years no one's kindness ran forever. I couldn't keep risking my life in the hills to hand his family meat every time. He saw it clearer than anyone. I cut him off, firm. Brother, same as before. Your father and mother kept me from starving. I'm grown now, and I can keep your whole family the same way. The taking on, don't raise it again. He let out a long breath, all the strength gone out of him. He knew well enough that asking a young man with a future to be taken on wronged me and held me back. But the weight on him was a mountain. A boy who could fell a several hundred catty bore his first trip and had a gift handed down from the founders of the craft, and a hunter that good. Once he took a wife and had sons and a household of his own, would he still keep a whole second family with nothing held back? Parents who loved their children planned far ahead for them. However much it pained him, he had to lay a road for his wife and kids. And there he was besides, a man eating off the family while lying on the calm. Given time, even blood brothers grow a rift. In his despair, his eyes went grayer still, a touch of death in them. He gripped my hand and begged with all he had. Shanha, I'm begging you. If one day I'm gone, you have to be with your sister-in-law. Help me raise Ling and little Dang. A chill went up from my feet. I hadn't known how far down his thoughts had sunk. I gripped his hand back, urgent. Brother, what nonsense is this? Your leg just can't do heavy work. Give it some days, and I'll carve you a good crutch. You'll get out to the yard fine. Can't farm, but you can weave straw sandals, weave baskets at home, bring in a little. Don't you dare give up on yourself, you hear me? That he'd turned toward dying put a pressure on me I hadn't felt before. I had to hunt and earn, fast. Earn enough that this family never wanted for food or clothes. Only that would kill the death wish in him. We talked low a while longer, and seeing him worn out, I rose to go. Rest, brother. I'm heading back. Out in the outer room, Chin Yu stood by the door, eyes red. She'd heard us. I looked at her and sighed. Sister-in-law, keep a close eye on brother Juzi these days. I'm afraid he'll do something rash. She nodded, eyes wet. I said nothing more and left. After I'd gone, and I only learned the shape of this later, Chin Yu went back in. Juzi looked at her and wept again. Such a good wife, widowed young while her man yet lived, and the whole household's weight on her shoulders. Wife, I've wronged all of you. She held back her own tears, said nothing, only wrung a hot towel and wiped him down as she always did, her voice frighteningly level. Don't talk that useless talk. You living is the greatest comfort there is for me and the children. At that he cried harder still, but somewhere in the weeping his eyes had gone steady, as if he'd settled on some heavy thing. Back in my own bare earthen house, I shut the door and gave the system its order. System, take 2 of the hunting points from this job and put them into my strength. That 500 catty boar, even carried out by 3 men in turns, had left me bone-tired. An 18-year-old in his prime with less strength than a 60-year-old, that wouldn't do. For a hunter, stamina and strength in the hills are the root of staying alive. Points allocated. The strengthening completes after deep sleep. You'll feel it plainly then. That settled, I strung the divided pork on straw cords and went house to house. The people I brought meat to were the ones who, when my parents died, had helped see to the funeral or had given the half-starved boy a bowl of food, a few coins. A drop of kindness repaid with a spring. That's how I mean to live. And of course I didn't forget the headman's house. Granddad, I went up the hill today and took a boar. Cut you 10 catties to taste. Kaoshan's headman, Zhao Fingyan, was the cousin of my grandfather, high standing in the village, his word law, both because most of Kaoshan was Zhao off one old root and because he was fair and shrewd. He sat under the old locust in his yard with a dry tobacco pipe, eyed me and the marbled slab in my hand, and blew an unhurried ring of smoke. Oh ho, word that you dropped a boar reached me on the wind already. Kind of you to think of your old granddad. What's this, then, a bribe? Young as you are, learning all the wrong tricks. The headman's house never wanted for meat. What hunter didn't tithe him a little? It was how things worked. Stay on his good side and things got done. Granddad, that's not fair talk. You and my grandfather were blood cousins, a grandson honoring his elder. How's that a bribe? You little rascal, you've gotten silver-tongued. Feng Yin was pleased. Young, but he knew how the world ran, talked well, handled himself well. All right, set the meat down and clear off. I grinned, set it on the table, and didn't go. He raised a brow, knocked out the pipe, coiled the cord round it, and set it down. What now? Want me to feed you a meal too? I rubbed my hands and sat. Granddad, I go up the hill on Brother Zhuzi's rifle. You little brat, your brother Zhuzi's the way he is. What's he need a rifle for? He knew right off I had something cooking. These years guns weren't banned outright, but a thing like the Type 38 was beyond an ordinary farmer's reach. The headman's house, I knew, had 2 of them, but I wasn't after those. I was after the 3 Type 56 semi-autos the forestry station had just been issued, newly come out, scarce as anything among civilians. Usually only cadres and the forest patrol had them. And his son, Zhao Early-Eye, was the station's secretary. Granddad, I wanted to borrow one of Uncle Early-Eye's Type 50 SIXS from the station. That set him huffing, eyes wide. What wind are you breaking now? That thing's under heavy control. Who'd dare lend it to you? The Type 56 had gone to the regulars across the board back in '58. It hadn't even reached the local militia yet, never mind hunters. All but impossible. I'm only asking. No, then never mind. I curled my lip. No harm shaking the tree on the off chance. He laughed at that and went into the inner room. Came back with a Type 38 and 3 packets of rounds besides. For your filial heart, this gun's yours. Whatever else, I was his grandson, within the 5 degrees. In these years, that's one family. I'd lost my parents young and had it hard. He'd never made a show of it, but he'd quietly helped here and there. Thanks, Granddad. When I bag a bear, I'll make you a bearskin coat. He roared a laugh and cursed me cheerfully. You little runt, hunt a bear? You'll see that black devil and your legs'll go to water. Go on, clear out of my sight. I hugged the gun and trotted off pleased as anything. 10 caddies of pork for a rifle, well worth the trip. Home again. Xiaodian was crouched guarding the pork, watching the gate. Xiaodian, come. He relaxed and trotted over wagging. Good dog. I'll make you something good in a bit. I cut a half-caddy slab off the pile and put it straight in the pot with water. These years were short on oil and salt, seasoning a luxury, and boar meat is tough and stringy and gamey. But to me, who hadn't seen meat in an age, it was a feast. Who in a common house ate meat every meal in the lean season. Even the worst boar meat was a delicacy others longed for. I steamed a few coarse cornmeal buns, ate the half-stewed meat off the big pot, and was full and warm through. Then I mixed coarse cornmeal with water, tipped in the leftover scraps and broth, stirred it to a gruel, and poured it in Xiaoyin's trough. A hunting dog is a brother in the hills, the thing your life leans on out there. You don't shortchange it. Xiaodian, eat up, sleep well. Tomorrow we go in again. The boar meat really was hard eating. If I could take a yellow mane or 2, or a year over, now that would be living. A yellow mane is a piglet born that year. Under 1, just out of the den, the yellow still bright on its neck, no coarse bristle or tusks yet, the meat tender enough to pinch water out of, every bit as good as a farm piglet. A year over is 1 to 2.5 years, grown, fat and firm but not old, the coat gone darker, the bristle stiffening, small tusks coming in. Yellow manies run 40 or 50 caddies. Year-overs go 70 or 80, even past 100. I lay on the cold Kong, turning the rifle in my hands, thinking of that tender meat, and was asleep in no time. Next morning, sky only just graying. I was sleeping hard when Xiaoyin's sharp, wild barking jolted me awake. I rubbed my eyes, threw on clothes, and heard a clear, hesitant girl's voice at the gate. Shanha? Shanha, are you up? I went out yawning and pulled the creaking door and blinked. Zhao Xiuli. Sister Xiuli, it's barely light. What brings you? A bamboo basket on her arm, a clean blue cloth over it. My ma steamed some cornmeal cakes, told me to bring them over. She dropped her head, a little shy. I'd given Annie Sue's house 2 caddies of pork the day before. She knew how to do right by people, sending breakfast over first thing. Don't stand out there, Sister Xiuli, come in. She'd come this early to dodge wagging tongues. No one was up yet. She nodded, head down, set the cakes in the outer room. Wash my face, Sister Xiuli, sit a moment. I went to the water vat in the yard, and when I came back she was folding my quilt. Sister Xiuli, Why are you folding my bedding? I was half embarrassed, an unmarried girl, bringing me breakfast and folding my quilt at dawn. Her face went red. It's nothing. I saw you've got some dirty clothes. I'll wash those too. And before I could stop her, she gathered the clothes off the kong and was out in the yard with them. It moved something in me. Sister Shioli's a good woman who knows how to keep a home. Marry her in, and it'd be a fine thing. Sister Shioli, I'm going up the hill in a bit, hoping for some yellow manies and year-overs this time. That boar meat's hard eating. Her shyness eased a little, and she shot me a look. You, lucky to have meat at all, and already turning your nose up at it. You're going in again? Her hands stopped scrubbing. She looked up, startled. Going into the hills, to the village's eyes, was carrying your head in your belt. A hunter who took big game usually rested 10 days or a fortnight to shed the death air and to let the beasts forget the smell of man. I grinned. That boar's hard eating. Figured I'd go have a wander, see if I run into a few yellow manies. That's tender meat. I take some. I'll bring your house one. At that, her face went up red as the dawn, and she dropped her head and bore down on the washing like the clothes were iron she meant to soften. The girls of this era have minds clear as spring water. Every ripple shows, and that half-joke, half-truth landed heavy on her. She wrung the washout brisk and went up on her toes to hang it on the yard line, then stole a glance at me, voice thin as a gnat. I should get home. Full daylight now. Soon the village would be up and about, and a girl walking out of my yard would never be explained clean. Right? Wait for me to come back in triumph tonight. She'd reached the gate. She stopped, turned. Be careful, Shanha. No game's fine. Don't push your luck. I blinked, then smiled and nodded. With Sister Shioli worried over me, I'll surely not push it. Read again, hot. Who's worried over you? And she ran off, and that bashful look set something rippling in me. Got to earn money, fast. I ate. Auntie Sue's cornmeal cakes were good, and I packed myself full off them and last night's tough leftover boar. But I didn't feed Shouty on his fill, only a couple bites to take the edge off. A hunting dog goes in 3/10 hungry. An empty belly keeps the want for the hunt, keeps the nose and ears keen. An old rule, and the animal's own nature. Early autumn now. The hills game were feeding like mad against the winter, all fat and firm, the golden season to hunt. If luck ran further and I met a bear, I'd be made. A bear's all treasure, and the gallbladder alone, dried and sold to a city apothecary, would fetch a proper worker's 2 months' wages. I checked the Type 38, wiped it down, belted the butchering knife, packed cornmeal cakes and plenty of water, and led Shouty on out fully kit. But under the old locust at the village mouth, a figure leaned on the trunk, a gun of his own in his arms, watching me with a half-smile. Fourth granddad, you're going in too. It was Zhao Junliang. His lean face creased into a wrinkled grin. Waiting on you. On me? How'd you know I'd go in today? I'd told no one but Shioli. First time I ever hunted, I was the same, itching to go back in the next day. You drop a boar your first trip, that fresh fire's nowhere near burned out. I laughed. No wonder they say the old are sly as old horses. Fourth granddad read me like a worm in his own gut. Come on. Today the two of us go in. He stood and made to pull the sled. Fourth granddad, I've got it. 59, 60 after the winter. No letting him pull a sled. And the system had put 2 points of strength in me overnight. Good time to test it. Don't underrate 2 points. For a grown man, the gain is near geometric. I slung the sled harness on, and it felt light. Let's go, fourth granddad. I called back, easy. A flicker of surprise crossed his cloudy but sharp eyes, then a satisfied nod. This grandson, sensible, and a fine hunting stock. One old, one young, and a dog, back into the Ileo. Shouty on, remember yesterday's boar's scent? Let's see if it's got kin still hanging round. He barked twice, eager, then stopped, lifted that big head high, and read the cold air, a low rumble in his throat. Junliang's eyes went wide. He forgot to move his feet. He'd half doubted the head center talk yesterday, seeing it was another thing. Ordinary dogs nose tracks at the ground. This lifting the head, reading the wind business he'd only heard of in the old folks' tales in near 60 years. Lord above, Xiaoyan's changed more than I can credit. He looked at the dog differently now. Shanha, you treat that dog like a blood brother from here on. A good hound is a hunter's second life. Grandson'll remember, fourth granddad. 10-odd minutes on, Xiaotian caught something, wheeled, and shot off like an arrow. We snapped to and stayed on him, fast over the rough ground, a good half-hour of chase. Junliang, his age telling, was soon heaving, though that he had this much wind at his years had me admiring him from the heart. I stopped and waited for him. Damn it. Old. No use anymore, he grumbled, and looking at me, he must have seen his younger self, once a high-spirited lad too. Fourth granddad, your wind's this good at your age. Don't talk of being no use. You'll shame your grandson. Ha ha ha, you talk pretty. No man admits to age, and Junliang was no exception. Just as we were about to rest, Xiaotian's call came. He's opened up. When the dog opens its throat, it's found game, and close. The dog catches the scent and sounds off to ready the master. Junliang lit up and was on his feet. No more resting. Quick, after him. Even an old hunter didn't take game every trip. Of his 3 hounds, only one was a low sinner. He'd brought no dog this time. Xiaotian the head sinner was enough. We ran like the wind on his voice, another 10 minutes, and pushed through a stand of grass. And before us was a mud wallow with 6 boar in it. 1 big tusker, 3 yellow manies, 2 year-overs. Xiaotian had slipped back to my side, wagging hard, like he was claiming his due. Hush, Xiaotian, not a sound. I kept my voice down low. Boar are wary as anything, heads down feeding, but they sweep the surroundings between bites. Junliang and I traded a look, not a word. He signed with one hand, smiling at me, the right side his, the left mine. We both nodded, raised the Type 38s quietly, eased the bolts, and put the sights on the boar under 200 meters off. Then together, 2 triggers, crack, crack, a yellow mane and a year-over dropped on the spot. I worked the bolt fast and put the sights on the others, bolting in fright. Crack, another yellow mane down. And Junliang's gun spoke again, dropping the last yellow mane. The big tusker and the remaining year-over were gone into the trees. Ha ha ha. Shanha. Youth, that's youth, fast hands. He'd been locked on the far boar and only caught up at my second shot, 3 full seconds faster than him. In the army, that'd be a sniper's seed. You're no slouch yourself, fourth granddad. That's fine shooting. Dropping a thick-hided year-over in one isn't easy. That mat of bristle caked with rolled-on mud is near armor, and a clean kill means the head or the heart exactly. My 2 yellow manies I'd taken the easy way, straight to the head. But Junliang's 2, a year-over and a yellow mane. He'd put both through the heart. That's not just skill, it's nerve. Likely a crack shot the army made of him, years back. All right, enough buttering each other up. Get over there and dress them. I nodded and tapped Xiaotian. Xiaotian, go, keep watch. He shot out, circled the 4 down boar, nosed each one a long while, and when he'd confirmed no live ones and no other danger, barked twice back at us. A hunter's rule. In a jungle full of threats, you never know what'll burst from the grass, so you send the dog to scout first, survival cut into the bone. Safe, we went over. Fourth granddad, this is a big haul. 3 yellow manies, a year over. Yesterday's tusker was old and stringy. These tender ones had my mouth watering. I half wanted to build a fire and roast a suckling pig right there. These 3 yellow manies, smallest 40-some caddies by the look. That year-over's no light thing, pushing 150. A lifetime's hunting gave him an eye that called the weight, near dead on at a glance. 2 juvenile boar killed. Scores, 10, 12. Reward, 2 hunting points. I tallied it. The tusker gave 3. I spent 2 on strength, leaving 1. And now 2 more, back to 3. Shanha, what are you standing there for? Bleed and gut them, or the meat will spoil in the carcass. Right, fourth granddad. None of these 4 were huge. I was quick about it. Knife out, bleeding, skinning, opening, and in a half hour the 4 were near done. The year-over's liver and heart I tossed to Xiaotian as his reward. You give the hound something each time, to keep it keen for the next, and he hauled the meat off to one side and tore in. The rest of the offal I hung in the branches, the offering to the mountain god, the hunter's reverence for the wild. Junliang nodded, satisfied, took up the cords, and began binding the boar onto the sled. Just as we finished, a violent roar of a bear rolled over us. My stomach dropped. Junliang shot to his feet, gun already chambered and up, and Xiaotian's tail went straight down. He flattened to the ground, trembling. Even the best dog fears a bear's roar on instinct. That's the pressure of something higher up the chain. Then a second roar. Bad. That's not just a black devil. There's a brown bear too. Black devil's the common name for the black bear. The moon of white on its chest, black-coated, smallish, and quick. The brown bear's another thing. Black-brown coat, heavy build, and grown into its full size it can fight a tiger. And the black bear's on the brown bear's menu. A brown meets a black, it'll hunt it. Those two roars, that'd be a black bear running into a brown. Shanha, let's go quick. Junliang knew what a bear was, especially a brown that had run a black bear up a tree, that only fired its savagery hotter, and it wouldn't quit till the black was dead. But my eyes lit, and I caught his arm. Fourth Granddad, this is a once-in-a-lifetime chance. We hole up, let the brown finish the black, and then the two of us take the brown together. Two bears in one go. Where do you stumble onto luck like that? Mantis stalks the cicada, the orioles behind it. I was getting carried away. Bear's the only thing in my head. He doused it cold. Have you gone lightheaded? Bear or brown? The noses on them are sharp as anything, near as good as Xiaoyan's head scenting. And a bear has that gift born in it. Most hounds don't. Unless they're denayed up for winter, you'd never get close. It'd smell you a long way off. A bear outnoses any ordinary dog. Fourth Granddad, there's the mud right there. We coat ourselves and crawl and slow. That stopped him because the idea tempted him too. Two bears. A whole life hunting, and he'd killed one black bear. And that one kill had made him Kaoshan's #1 gun. A chance like this you don't pass up. Well, Fourth Granddad, one word. In or out? He worked his jaw. Near 60, his trips into the hills running out. This might be his last shot at a bear, and for an old hunter that wasn't a thing to let go. Damn it. Am I going to have less nerve than a green melon like you? In. We crouched and worked the mud over ourselves. Black bottom mud and rotted leaf muck, the kind that seals a man's scent. Head to foot, evenly, the shoes too. Dried, it crusts into a hard shell that locks the smell in. Even within 30 meters a bear can't tell you're a man. The catch is that sweat cracks the shell and the scent leaks, and it makes you clumsy. But it was autumn, not so hot now, and the brown's whole attention would be on the black. Heaven, ground, and circumstance all lined up. If we missed this, I wouldn't sleep 3 nights running. Mud done, I told Xiaoyan. Mind the pork here. He lay flat with a low whine. Answer enough. And the two of us went toward the roars. Under 20 minutes, and my sharp eye caught the black bear up a towering tree, and below it a brown of frightening size pacing and pacing, now and then slapping the trunk in a fury with a paw like a fan, raining dead leaves down. A grown brown is enormously heavy, its claws gone blunt. It lost the knack of climbing long ago, and against an old tree 2 men couldn't ring with their arms, it could do nothing. The black bear, though, is a born climber. Up a tree at any size is instinct, and fast. So the old hunters say, meet a brown in the wild, and a tree's a thread of hope, but meet a black and don't even think of climbing, because you'll never outclimb it. That black bear was at the very crown, near enough a live target. One shot anywhere, and the fall alone from that height would cost it half its life. As good as in the bag. The real problem was the brown below. Thick hide, thick meat, a startling layer of fat. Our Type 38s, at range, with the power bleeding off, might not punch clean through a vital. And one shot short of a kill, the thing maddened or turned and bolted. That speed would be beyond imagining. We traded a look, his cloudy eyes bright behind the mud mask. He signed again, and I caught it at once. Leave the one in the tree. Fast going up, slow coming down. Once the gun spoke, it'd have no time to react unless it threw itself down recklessly. And a near-dead fall just needs a finishing round. The work now was the brown. He pointed at his own head, then at me, then tapped over his heart. The split. I take the head, he takes the heart. Double insurance. If I went wide, a hard-shot brown wouldn't get far. If he missed, my headshot would do it. Both miss? For hunters like us, that'd be a disgrace, vanishingly unlikely. Under the brush, we crawled another dozen-odd meters and stopped at a clean firing spot, 50 meters off the brown. I lay flat against the cool earth, raised the muzzle slow, cheek to the cold stock, eyes aslit, the brown's outline set in the sights. My breath went long and faint, near stopped. 2 mudmen, still as dead wood. Not yet. The brown was still pacing. The moment to fire was when it wore out its patience and settled quiet under the tree to outlast the black. A brown is near obsessive about killing a black bear. Once it's treed one, it'll squat an hour or two, sometimes more, a contest of who breaks first. Our patience was no less. Mosquitoes whined at our ears. We didn't so much as blink. Junliang had soldiered. Lying in wait was nothing to him. But out of the corner of his eye he watched me, and inside he was reeling. A boy with not one day's real training. His first true lie-in-wait bear hunt. Lying here like a corpse without a flicker, not the faintest tremor. A gift cut into the bone, born for this trait. Half an hour on, the brown seemed tired and leaned right against the trunk to rest. We caught it in one shared glance. The moment had come. We held our breath. The looser you get at exactly this point, the worse. The world went still, and there was nothing in my eye but the brown's head. 3, 2, 1. On Junliang's whispered count, we squeezed together. Crack, crack. The brown wailed and dropped with a thud, heaved once trying to rise. And then a mountain of flesh came down all at once in a roar of dust and leaves. I didn't pause, my right shoulder still stinging from the Type 38's brutal recoil. My hand was already on the bolt. Pull, the hot casing leaping out, trailing smoke. Push, a fresh round up. The whole thing one fluid mechanical motion. I drove up from prone, muzzle rising, no time to aim, and on a hunter's instinct put it on the shivering black shape in the crown. Crack. The black bear didn't even cry out, just went rigid. Why? A flicker of doubt crossed Junliang's hard face. But before he'd finished the word, the black dropped like a sack with its string cut, straight down off the trunk, and hit the ground with a heavy thud the deep leaf litter couldn't fully soften. It twitched twice and went still. From that height, even if the round had only grazed it, the fall alone would do it. Shanha, finishing shots, Junliang said low. A hunter's rule. With big tough beasts, the finishing shot is mandatory. Their dying lunge can take any careless man. The system's cold chime had already told me both were dead, but I obeyed without hesitation and put a clean round into each. Adult brown bear killed. Score, 58. Reward, 6 hunting points. Rare black bear killed. Score, 71. Reward, 7 hunting points. When I saw the words rare black bear, my pupils tightened. Rare, that bear was old. Then, and an old black bear's odds of carrying a gold gallbladder go way up. My heart slammed. Bear gallbladder is precious medicine, and the gold kind, clear and golden, is king, worth a fortune. Next is the iron grade, mostly black, opaque and dull. Lowest is the rapeseed gall, yellow-green, no luster, blotchy. Even the worst, at the supply co-op, fetches 30 yuan, a city worker's dead-wage month. An iron grade at least doubles it. And gold, that's a treasure you can't seek out, the co-op buying price 120. In these years, 120 could change a family's fate. Never mind the black market, where it climbs higher still. We waited a full 5 minutes more, confirmed neither stirred, and went in slow, one behind the other. The bloodreek and powder hit us together. Both bears stone dead. Fourth granddad, we did it. I couldn't hold the boy in me. I shook a fist, near jumped. We took the bears. Ha ha ha. My first real bear hunt. Only my second trip in, all told, and I dropped 2 bears. Junliang's chest was heaving too. A lifetime hunting, and only one lucky black bear in his youth. Bears smell unholy keen. Usually they're long gone before you spot them. This was pure luck, catching the brown and black at each other's throats. Shanha. Quick, open it up, see what gall it's got. I drew the knife and started peeling the black's hide layer by layer. Taking the gall has a knack to it I didn't have. Junliang leaned in, and his eyes went wide. Your luck's something cursed, boy. An iron gall. My mouth turned down. Only an iron gall. I'd figured a rare black bear should give gold, at least, and half my excitement drained off. He laughed himself angry and slapped my back. You little, the odds of even an iron gall are slim. Sell this to the co-op, 70 yuan easy. 70. A worker's 3 months and then some, and you're not satisfied? I grinned. I never said that, just thought gold would have been better. He cursed me good-naturedly. You're greedy blind. Any old bear that grows a gold gall has near lived itself into a spirit, smells a man 2 li off, sharp as the devil, they're long gone. Fair enough, That kind you take your luck on in winter when they're denayed. Shanha, watch. I'll teach you to take the gall. He found the gallbladder under the liver and cut it free, fast and clean, then bound the duct tight with threads so no bile leaked, and with a small knife pared off every bit of surface fat. Remember, no water, no rinsing. Home, hang it in a cool airy place to dry on its own. Never sun it, never fire it, never wet it. Half dry, press it flat with a board to shape it, better grade that way. Bone dry, seal it in a lime jar. Come next year you can sell it at the co-op. I fixed every word in my head. Then Junliang opened the brown, but its gall was only a rapeseed. Fourth granddad, let's get moving. Some other beast turns up and our joy turns to grief. 2 bear galls on me now. I was jumpy. He laughed and cursed. Where'd your nerve go, boy? Relax. The smell off these 2 bears keeps the wolves and jackals well back. Unless a big paw comes. A big paw, a tiger. So how do we deal with these 2, fourth granddad? Today's haul was staggering. 2 bears, for fat boar, heaped like little hills. Even Junliang, a lifetime hunting, had never seen a harvest this monstrous, and the little sled we'd brought couldn't drag 1 bear, let alone 2. Leave Xiaodian with me. You run back to the village and fetch people. He waved a hand, lordly. Every uncle and cousin you can rouse. All of them. Or just us 2 won't get these treasures home by dark. I frowned, calculating. Fourth granddad, what if we skin the bears, butcher the meat into pieces, and run a few trips? He glared and laughed. You trying to work this old frame to death? Bad idea. We sweat blood to take 2 whole bears and don't carry them home whole. Where's the face in that? I got it then. Wealth unshown back home is fine silks worn in the dark, and the same in hunting. 2 bears, not hauled into Kaoshan whole and proud, paraded before the whole village, was as good as a wasted hunt. Junliang's #1 gun name was made years back on a single black bear. Add these 2, and it became a gold signboard. Got it, fourth granddad. You mind yourself, I'll fly there and back. He slapped at the dried mud crust of blood on him. Haughty. Go easy. 2 hours. Nothing with eyes dares come near here. Unless a big paw comes to amuse an old man. Still I wasn't easy. I called Xiaodian back from gnawing boar offal and pointed hard at Junliang. Xiaodian, mind fourth granddad, understand? He barked twice, tail spinning like a windmill, and I sucked in the cold air and tore off for the village. I ran with everything I had. No stopping. Leaving a near 60-year-old alone in the deep woods with 2 reeking bear carcasses beside him wasn't far off leaving him in a wolf's den. Near half an hour, lungs about to burst, I saw the cook fire smoke over the village and went straight to 6th Uncle Jangwo's gate, pounding. 6th Uncle, open up. He thought something terrible had happened, grabbed the carrying pole behind the door, and came charging out in his slippers, all menace. What is it, Shanha? That dog lazy biao at you again? Let's go. Your 6th uncle settle it. I'll go all in this time. The protectiveness warmed me, but I shook my head, gasping. Not lazy biao, fourth granddad and I went hunting today, and before I finished, he heard hunting, and something happened, and went white, threw the pole down clattering, grabbed my arm and hauled me, his voice shaking. Shanha, quick, what happened to fourth uncle? Hurt? Or did you meet a big one? Dizzy from the shaking, I swallowed and shouted. Nothing of the sort. I'm saying we took 2 bears. 2. Too big to move. Get my uncles. Get a bunch of men. We're going in to carry bears. He turned to stone, staring at me like I was a monster, reached out and felt my forehead, checked my eyes, not feverish and raving. Shanha, you wouldn't josh your 6th uncle? Bears. 2. He'd seen Junliang take that 1 bear in his day, but that was several strong men in together. Only the killing shot Junliang's. And now I was telling him 1 near 60-old man, 1 half-grown boy, and a dog had quietly dropped 2 bears? My good 6th uncle. It's an emergency, why would I lie? 4th granddad and Xiaodian are still up in the Ileo waiting. Every minute we waste is a minute more danger for him. Move. True or not, he knew not to dawdle. 4th uncle's safety came first, and he went house to house. In no time the Zhao men were roused, 10 strong hands counting Zhang Wo, all thinking the family had been set upon and there was a fight coming. Every man with something in his fist, poles, spades, picks, grim-faced. With no time to explain, he'd only shouted, 4th uncle and Shanha are in trouble, Follow. Shanha, what's the matter? Fighting who? A cousin asked. No time for that either. I threw up a hand and shouted 4 words. Up the mountain. Carry bears. The column set off for the Ileo. The women left behind stood dumbstruck, thinking some disaster had struck. Dozens gathered at the village mouth, craning necks and guessing. Some saying Junliang must have gone down in the hills, and these men were fetching the body. Others that they'd taken something huge 2 men couldn't move. All sorts. In these years there was no amusement but chewing the rag. When I brought the panting uncles and cousins to the spot, all 10 froze where they stood, near dropping their tools. Mother of mine. Shanha, you 2 really did take 2 bears. Junliang held his head up, pride all over him. Before these nephews and juniors, he'd got himself a deep satisfaction. 4th uncle, you're amazing. The old blade still sharp, 4th uncle. The praise came thick, and it had him near floating. No, I'm old. The brown, that was Shanha and me together. But the black, that one Shanha took alone. Long rivers later waves, what's the phrase? I bit down a laugh and coughed. The Yangtze's later waves drive the ones before. That's the meaning of it. At Shanha took it. The voices cut dead, every face disbelieving. The boy's 18? A half-grown kid, taking a bear? You little stinker, you've made something of yourself. Zhang Wo came over and clapped my back. That broad hand near staggered me. SSS, 6th uncle, this thin frame can't take it. The uncles roared. Quit your guff. You can hunt bears, but I'd hurt you. More praise and envy in their eyes. They all knew hunting runs on a gift, shooting especially. Any of them who'd held a gun knew that even firing one, with the wrong stance, the recoil could put you on your back, never mind the aim. All right, enough giggling, Junliang said, clearing his throat to take the floor back as the focus drifted to me. Cut some stout branches, lash up frames, carry the bears home. We're down the mountain before dark. 10 hands jumped to it, with Junliang and me, 12 in all. 2 bears near 1,000 caddies together was hard going, but rotating, easy enough. I pulled the boar sled out front, the rest in pairs taking turns at the 2 bears bound to thick poles, and the column rolled for Kaoshan. When the strange procession came into the village, the gossiping women at the mouth fell silent near as one. Their eyes went to the column, then to the 2 great black shapes, and when they made out what they were, everyone sucked in a frightened breath. Heaven above, it's black bears, a sharp-eyed woman shrieked. Mother, 2, and this big. The Zhao family's about to strike it rich. I said they took something big, didn't I? Look, look. The earlier guessers crowed. The whole village mouth boiled over. Everyone crowded in, the bold pressing close, the timid up on their toes at the back, all wanting a near look at a thing they'd only heard of in tales. The men set the bears down at the most conspicuous spot on purpose, to let everyone see clear. Those huge paws, those claws like steel hooks, and the women stared and gasped. Heavens, 4th granddad, you took these? An auntie asked in reverence. Kaoshan's #1 gun, no mistaking. What a sight. All my life I've never seen, never even heard of, anyone carrying back 2 bears at once. Ringed and fawned over, drinking in the heartfelt praise, Junliang felt headier than off 2 ounces of strong liquor. Chest out, head high, soaking up a high point his life rarely gave him. Wealth unshown back home is silks in the dark, he'd done it now. And just as he floated, Zhang Wo's ill-timed bellow went up again. The brown, that's 4th uncle and Shanha together. He paused, raised his voice on purpose, pointed at the bigger black bear, and said it slow and clear. That black bear, Shanha took alone. The boiling crowd went dead quiet. Junliang's smile froze like a bucket of cold water over the head, the breath near caught in his throat. He shot the loose-mouthed Zhang Wo a glare that cursed him head to foot inside. Seeing 4th granddad's angry, deflated face, I bit back a grin and stepped out to smooth it. Aunties, all of you. If not for 4th granddad's old hand bringing me in and backing me up, where'd I get the chance to take a bear? An old one in the house is a treasure, truly. His stiff face eased at once, the peak gone, replaced by a full, contented ease. See, it's my grandson who knows how to talk. That Zhang Wo, useless, can't even let an old man enjoy himself a moment. Shauna's the good one, young, but he knows how to speak, how to handle things. Zhang Wo's mouth twitched, and he glared right back at me. You little stinker. So you're the one who knows the way of the world, the one with the silver tongue. I praise you out of goodwill, and you knife me in the back for it. By now the women had recovered, and they swarmed me, even more eager than they'd been around Junliang. Shanha, you've really made something of yourself. Your parents underground would be so comforted. Shanha, listen, Auntie's got a brother's girl. Pretty, broad-hipped for bearing. And a worker. Give her a thought, eh? Your brother's girl? My family's got none. Don't listen to her. Shanha, my brother's girl is the fresh one, skin white as scallion stem. You'll love her for certain. Pa, Sister Lu, your brother's got the one unmarried girl, and isn't she 14? What are you crowding in for? So what? For more years and she's of age. Settle it now, why not? You'd have Shanha wait 4 years on your girl? The dish'll be stone cold. The women near came to blows over matchmaking me on the spot. The first bore could be called luck. But a second trip in, a black bear taken alone. That wasn't luck a person could explain. Without real skill, who could do it? Junliang had hunted a lifetime and taken one black bear in his youth, and it had made him the village's acknowledged #1 gun for decades. A household that got to break the meat fast every few days, who didn't go green-eyed with envy. Marry a daughter or a niece to Shanha, and could the days after be anything but good? Meat on the table daily? And from somewhere in the crowd a voice piped up. So by that reckoning, Kaoshan's #1 gun's about to become this boy Shauna's title, eh? Someone in the crowd hollered it out, and 100 pairs of eyes swung onto Junliang at once. Kaoshan's #1 gun had been him for decades. In these years, with no real amusement, people loved a spectacle and loved to chew the rag. And here was that title about to be carried off by a green boy. Everyone craned their necks to see how he'd take it. Would he go red with anger, or pull old man rank? This time the ones waiting on a show were bound to be let down. On that weathered face there wasn't a flicker of displeasure. The smile only spread. He laid a hand like a fan on my shoulder and laughed it out loud. This is the river's later waves driving the ones before, each generation better than the last. Our Zhao families turned out another hunter worth the name. If some other surname in the village had taken the title off him, that would have sat in his craw like a slap. But going to me, it felt entirely different. I wasn't his blood grandson, but I was a Zhao, the same blood in me. That's not losing face. That's inheritance, the sign of old giving way to new in the Zhao line. The proof that their hunting gun had someone to carry it on. Junliang had shouldered a rifle in his youth, gone to war, bled and taken wounds. Come home older, never got a wife, never had a child of his own, and lived off this one fine skill better than anyone. Childless his whole life, looking at me turning out like this. In his heart, he counted me a true grandson. All right, quit standing about like fence posts, he barked, full of wind. Carry the bears into Shanha's yard, quick. The column moved again through the village lanes, and now the whole of Kaoshan, old and young, was stirred up, heads poking out from behind every window. To take a bear in these years was a thing you'd boast of your whole life. Never mind 2 in one go, one of them the fiercer brown. Back in my rundown little yard, Junliang gave Zhangwo a look, and Zhangwo caught it and set the Zhao brothers, broad-shouldered, planting themselves at the gate like door gods. A heart's hidden behind a belly. With this many people pressing round, no telling whether some green-eyed wretch might pull something, and in a scramble someone could fish in muddy water and walk off with meat, or worse. The crowd outside kept thickening, a black mass of them, and even Zhangwo swallowed, palms sweating. Then a voice like a thunderclap came from beyond the crowd. What are you all doing? Too full and nothing to do. Your housework done? The weeds pulled from your fields? What are you crowding here for? Clear off, the lot of you. Headman Zhao Fingyan had come, and standing matters. Most of the crowd was Zhao and owed him an uncle or a granddad, so at his appearance they went quiet at once. More to the point, 6 or 7 militiamen stood behind him, each with a Type 38, the dark muzzles speaking for themselves. Standing alone isn't enough these years. You need force behind it. You hear me? Scatter. And at the second roar the crowd at my gate broke up, reluctant. Some stayed. Neighbors, one production brigade. Faces you see morning and night, watching from a little way off. When Fengyan stepped into my yard and saw the 2 huge bear carcasses, even he, who'd seen plenty, swore. Bloody hell, you little rabbit, You really did take bears? I'd bragged to him the day before about a bearskin coat. He'd taken it for a young man's big talk, and one day later there the bears lay. Hey, Granddad, see? Told you I'd get a bear. There's your coat material. He crouched, felt them over, looked them up and down. He'd seen Julian's bear in his youth, a black one a size smaller than this black, and that brown, its paw alone bigger than his head. All right, you've got the makings, boy. He stood and dusted his hands. I just came to look and to chase the crowd off, so nothing goes wrong and lands on my head as headman. Get on with it. I said nothing with so many uncles still about, eyes everywhere. When the crowd had mostly gone, I called the helpers over to divide the bear meat. In my past life, I'd always heard bear paw was a rare delicacy, but I'd been born too late, when bears were protected and no one dared touch one. Now I'd get to taste the legend. Sixth uncle, all of you uncles, thank you for the trouble today. Without you, I'd never have gotten these two home. So, everyone who came takes at least 2 caddies of bear and 2 of pork home. Let your kids have a treat. That fat year over went 100+ caddies. 2 caddies a man was more than enough. The rest of the pork I'd keep aside, send fourth Granddad aside. How to split the 2 bears was between him and me, behind a shut gate, after everyone left. At meat to divide, and 4 caddies at that. The lot of them lit up and fell to it, and soon it was done. They'd only lend a hand and walked off with 4 caddies each, and not common meat. Marbled year-over boar and bear, a rarity they'd never have dreamed of. Ha ha ha. Shanha, you've made it. Next time there's a good thing like this, don't forget your uncle. The praise poured out free as water. I just smiled and nodded. When everyone had gone off satisfied, I barred the gate from inside. Fourth Granddad, let's settle how to split the 2 bears. I rubbed my hands, serious. The galls, the hides, the bones, they'll fetch real money. His face dropped at once, and he jabbed a finger at my nose. You little wretch, working out shares with me? I'm this old, half in the ground, split what? A mouthful's enough for me. These 2 bears, hide to bone, are yours. At his age, money meant nothing. What mattered was face, and today I'd won him plenty of it. Fourth Granddad, that won't do. One thing's one thing. Seeing him take only 1 little boar, I pressed in and lowered my voice. You ran the same risk, went in, did the work, backed me up. You've got to take a share. His eyes went wide, and the fan of a hand near landed on my forehead. What right are you talking? I want your scraps. I'm this old. What would I do with all that money? Carry it into the coffin? I'll take the yellow mane and treat myself, that's all. But the 2 galls, hand them over first. I'm afraid you'll botch them and waste good things. I sighed. I knew his temper. Say no, and even left at his house he'd throw it back out. Fine, all of it as you say. Meat dealt with. He didn't hurry off. He pulled up a stool and sat. Shanha, come here, I've something to say. I crouched beside him, puzzled. He thought a moment, ordering his words. There's been a deal of loose talk lately about you and your sister-in-law Chinyu. You feel for that family. Fine, but must you be so brazen about it? 100+ caddies of pork. Couldn't you slip it over after dark? A bad name these years makes it hard even for a man to marry. Though now, famous as I was, no end of people were angling to match me up. Fourth Granddad, you know, after my parents died, it was second uncle and aunt who raised me. Now brother Juzi's like this, I can't just leave the family. He sighed. He knew I had a conscience. But others didn't see it that way. Not every heart is good. You and that girl Chinyu, truly nothing? The question gave me a headache. Fourth Granddad, you know me. Could I do a thing like that? Brother Juzi's like my own brother. Chinyu's my own sister-in-law. He let out a breath, relieved. He'd truly feared I'd do something hot-headed I'd regret. Able as I was, what kind of wife couldn't I get later? That girl of Su Chui's, she's a good one. Brought you food first thing this morning. He grinned, ribbing me. But I didn't argue. I went with it. Sister Shioli's good. His heart leapt. There was an opening. Ha ha ha. If you like her, then be sensible. Cut half a yellow mane and send it over. Show your heart. These years, a solid thing beats anything empty. And if you can't bring yourself to it, this old face of mine'll go say it for you. Auntie Sue's house was tight too, but the martyr's stipend kept them off starvation, and with Shioli and the others grown enough to help, only the youngest son still a child. Su Chui liked her small advantages, but a woman raising 4 children alone couldn't get by without counting every grain. So over the years, Junliang would send a little when he took game. Out of the 5 degrees, but Zhao all the same. Got it, fourth granddad. I scratched my head, a touch embarrassed. I'll bring the pork over in a bit. He smiled, pleased. Childless his whole life, he'd long since made the orphan me into his own grandson. And to see me take a wife and have children, the house warm again, would settle a wish of his, the taste of grandchildren at his knee. Right, I'll haul this yellow mane off. He hefted the several tin caddy boar onto his shoulder light as anything, steps steady, not a trace of age. The rest yours to handle. Fourth granddad gone. I took the polished butchering knife and split the remaining yellow mane into 2 halves, a good 20-some caddies. The day before I'd sent Shioli's family boar, but that was the old, gamey tusker. This yellow mane was tender, a different thing. Then my eye fell on the 2 huge bear paws, black glossy fur, hooked claws, a wild dignity to them. Bear paws said to be the finest taste on earth, but I had no idea how to prep it. Just as well, take it over and ask Annie Sue. She'd kept house a lifetime. She might know, and we'd finish the rarity at her place. Everyone get a taste. I told Xiaodian to mind the house, locked the gate, and went down the lane to Shioli's. Same lane as mine at the mouth, hers deeper in, a half-side of boar in one hand, a heavy bear paw in the other. I'd just reached the gate when it creaked open from inside, and I near walked into Annie Sue coming out. "Io, Shanha, what brings you?" She blinked. Then her eyes hooked onto the white slab of pork on my shoulder, every wrinkle creasing into a grin. She knew about the 2 bears, of course. She just hadn't liked to push to the front in that crush, and her daughter had already struck up with me. Let the young ones sort it out themselves. "Auntie, I brought you some yellow mane. Tinder, far better eating than yesterday's tusker." I held up the other hand. "And this? Everyone says bear paw's good, but I've never seen one, no idea how to cook it. Thought I'd ask if you know how to handle it." Her heart bloomed. "Io, Shanha, you've asked the right person. Shioli, come help. Shana's here." Shioli heard the commotion, her heart jumping, and came out through the curtain. Color on her face, head near buried in her chest, eyes only on her own toes. She didn't dare look at me. She just put out both hands, said a small, "I'll take it," and lifted the 20-some caddy slab off my shoulder onto her own with a neat flip, steady as a seasoned hand, and turned for the outer room. The girls of this era have a fierce strength under a soft look. You girl lost your soul?" Auntie Sue pitched her voice up on purpose. "Shauna's here, and you don't even greet him. Just head down and off. What's that?" Shioli went redder still, and all but fled into the outer room. "Don't mind her, Shanha. Fierce at home. A clam the moment she sees you. Bashful is all." Plain as day, she meant to push us together. "It's nothing, Annie. Sister Shioli's fine." I turned it. "About the bear paw. You've seen the world. Can you handle it?" Sharp as she was, she knew. A chance Shanha brought to the door himself. Know how or not, she'd say she knew. "You've asked the right person." She slapped her thigh. "Bear paw's a fussy thing, lots of steps. Come in, we'll talk it over." And she called inside. "Number 2, 3, 4. Out here, all of you. See who's come. Greet your brother Shanha." Auntie Sue had 4 children. The eldest, Zhao Shioli, 21 this year. Long past marrying age, somehow held up till now. The second girl, Zhao Xiaomei, my age, just 18. The third, a son, Zhao Jinglei, 16, named for a thunderclap that split the sky the night he was born. The youngest, Zhao Jingyu, just 10. "Brother Shanha, you came." A half-grown boy shot out. Jinglei, near my age, a bare-bottom playmate from childhood. And a girl followed, Zhao Xiaomei. Not shy like her sister, but with a girl's reserve, her bright eyes stealing toward me now and then. We were the same age. As kids we'd played house, and she always cheated to be the father and made me the mother. "Brother Shanha, you're amazing. A black bear, how'd you take it?" Jinglei's eyes were full of worship. To a 16-year-old, a man who could drop a black bear was a hero out of legend. Just luck, see, at the time. Not one for false modesty. I pulled up a stool and told the children the whole hair-raising trip, vivid as I could. Auntie Sue and Shioli worked in the outer room, one washing rice, one seeing to the meat. Out in the yard I told it with spit flying. The 3 children rapped, gasps breaking out. And in the end, even Auntie Sue wiped her hands and pulled Shioli to the doorway to listen. No amusement these years, and I've a good mouth. The tale ran better than a storyteller's. Brother Shauna, next time, take me hunting? Jinglei's blood was up. I glanced toward Auntie Sue and smiled. Fine by me. Afraid your mother won't part with you, though. Hunting's a trade of licking blood off a blade. One slip and a man doesn't come back. Ma, I want to go hunting with Brother Shauna. He ran to her, neck stuck out. She didn't refuse outright, just scolded with a laugh. You think the hills are a market fair? With your 3 cat's paws of skill, you'd only drag your Brother Shauna down. Ma, I'm 16. Strong. Even if I'm no big help, I can carry the game. She was weighing it. She didn't want her son on that dangerous road, but the house was hard up, and if Jinglei learned even a little of the craft, that was another road to living for the whole family. She looked at me, asking, Shanha, is this boy made for it? I smiled. Talk won't tell, Auntie. Tell you what, in a couple of days I'll take him in, just round the fringes, let him test the depth of it. She nodded, thoughtful, and went back to her work. An hour on, the smell of food filled the yard. Auntie Sue setting steaming bowls of meat and vegetables across the little square table. The youngest, Jingyu, washed a plate of meat glistening with oil, mouth all but running onto the floor. She'd gone all out, even steamed the sorghum rice they wouldn't touch at New Year. Shioli, what are you standing there for? Call Shanha to eat. Shioli kept her head down the whole time, the flush never leaving her face. The table was small, with everyone seated, only the spot at my right hand was open, and she stood pinching her hem, not daring to take it, until Auntie Sue had had enough and pulled her down into it beside me. Shanha, Auntie's clumsy with words. She raised a cup, eyes reddening. You take game and still think of this house. Auntie's grateful from the heart. All these years, a widow and orphans, scraping by, and never met a good man like you. Her voice began to shake, tears turning in her eyes. Shiomei patted her back. Ma, Shauna bringing meat's a good thing. Why cry? Auntie Sue wiped her eyes and shot her a look, half scolding, half laughing. You girl, no manners, calling him Shanha? If not brother-in-law yet, you'd at least call him brother. Ma, Shauna's a month younger than me. Having me call him brother isn't right. Shiomei shot back. Auntie Sue's face stiffened. Something was off in that. Even she didn't know my birthday. How did the second girl? Shioli looked up at her sister, puzzled too. Ahem. Played house plenty as kids. You just end up knowing. Shiomei coughed, realizing herself. For a moment, the table went awkward, though the 2 boys caught none of it, busy with fatty meat. Shioli picked up a piece, hesitating over whether to put it in my bowl, and Shiomei, from clear across, reached over and dropped one in first. Shanha, try Ma's cooking. Shioli's chopsticks stalled midair, the awkwardness deeper. Auntie Sue was no fool. If she couldn't read this, she'd have lived her years for nothing. She lifted her bowl to Shioli. Aya, it's the eldest who dotes on her ma after all. Taking the offered step, Shioli put the piece in her mother's bowl. Ma, your eldest son'll do it too. Jinglei, oblivious, piled the biggest piece on, burying her sorghum rice. Jingyu copied, wobbling a piece over with his small chopsticks, and one bowl became a hill of meat. I sat there itching all over, a fine sweat on my back. What sort of meal was this? Like waiting at the execution ground. I pushed my rice around. That piece of Shiomei's neither eatable nor leavable. Shiomei has feelings for me? Surely not. We weren't proper childhood sweethearts, just 2 kids who'd run wild together young and drifted apart as boy and girl grew separate. And Auntie Sue's heart was 10,000 horses at a gallop. Had she matched it wrong? Her certainty had all rested on the eldest. Shioli was 21, an old maid by the village's reckoning. The matchmakers near wearing her threshold down, and she'd seen not one of them, no matter how Auntie Sue coaxed, till she fretted blisters at the corners of her mouth. Then days ago she'd sent Shioli for the meat, and the girl, for once, hadn't refused, and the next day offered, on her own, to bring me food. A woman who'd been through it read that plain. She'd truly taken to me. A match made in heaven, no coaxing needed. And by my doings today, meat brought, the brother promised the hills, the looks drifting Shioli's way. Surely I'd taken to the eldest too. But the second girl's whole string of moves had her heart up in her throat. Don't tell me the second one's fallen for him as well. Sisters set on one man. How would that sound spoken aloud? that meal, but for the two clueless boys eating with relish. The other three had their minds far off, the food like chewing wax. Auntie, I've eaten my fill. I'll head back. Come see you another day. I couldn't sit any longer. 3 quick mouthfuls, and I was up. The air was too thick. I'd suffocate if I stayed. Shanha, she said, distracted, clearing bowls. The bear paws prepped, soaking in cooking wine and spices. Day after tomorrow, I'll send Jinglei to call you over to eat. I nodded and turned for the gate, and Shiomei sprang up and was at my side, bright-faced. Ma, it's near dark. I'll see Shanha off. At that, Shioli, clearing dishes, jerked, the bowls clinking. She kept her head down, said nothing, but the whole yard could feel the low, grieved thing coming off her. Auntie Sue's face froze. She was 100% sure now. The second girl had fallen for me. And anyone with eyes could see Shiomei was far the bolder, more outgoing, readier to act. Palm and back of the hand are both her own flesh. She didn't know what to do. Shioli never lifted her head, never said a word, only gathered the bowls and carried them off to the outer room one slow step at a time, like a feelingless puppet. Shiomei, seeming to notice nothing, even tugged my arm. Come on, Shanha, I'll see you out. Auntie Sue shut her eyes, pain crossing her face, while the two boys saw nothing, crowing about bear paw the day after. Uneasy, she followed to the outer room, and in the dim light found Shioli not washing, but standing stock still with the stack of bowls, staring at nothing, as if her soul had left her. She sighed without sound, went over, and patted her shoulder. Big girl, big girl. Shioli started like she'd woken from a dream, and somehow her hand shook, and a bowl slid from her arms and shattered on the hard earthen floor. The crisp break was like a switch. The next moment, big tears rolled down, one after another, and she couldn't hold up any longer. She sank into a crouch, buried her face in her knees, shoulders heaving, not daring even to cry aloud. Only the most stifled sobs forced from her throat. It broke Auntie Sue's heart, a needle stab of pain. She knew how much the eldest had swallowed over the years. The firstborn, anything to eat or use going first to the younger ones, in the fields and at housework since she was small, her hands calloused thick, rougher than any girl her age. Aya, big girl, don't cry. She crouched and gathered her in. Shanha today, bringing meat, promising to take Jinglei in. He's plainly come for you. That means his heart's set on you. She stroked the shaking back and said it slow and firm. You're grown now, and Ma wants to tell you. Some things you can yield, and yielding is grace. But some things come once in a lifetime, and you must not yield them. Yield, and it's a lifetime's regret. It wronged the second girl to say it, but palm and back of the hand, both her flesh, there's an order of first and last, and the eldest had felt this first. Ma, Shioli's head came up, eyes streaming, looking at her mother. She'd never dreamed her mother would say such a thing. Raised her whole life to be sensible, to yield, to look after the younger ones, which had made her this inward girl who buried everything in silence. All right, Ma knows you've borne a great deal these years. She wiped the tears away, eyes full of ache and resolve. Shauna's a man you can rely on, able and good-hearted besides. Marry him and you'll never be put upon at home. You'll have good days ahead. When Shioli heard her mother say that, she went still where she stood, the surging tears stopping as if by some small miracle, and a warmth rose from her heart up into her face. She ducked her head, eyes on the dirt at her own shoe tips. You wait till the second girl gets back. See if I don't sort her out, Auntie Sue said, harsh on the surface, pained and exasperated underneath. Turning the world upside down, no respect at all. But Shioli shook her head, voice thin as a gnat. Don't blame number 2, Ma. It's just that Sean has too fine a thing. She meant it. He was straight-backed and bright to look at, his smile like the sun coming up over the east end of the village. And now he'd taken a black bear on his own skill and become the young man the whole of Kaoshan praised. A man that able and that good-looking. What girl wouldn't quietly carry a torch? She could understand why her sister's heart had stirred. You, pleading your sister's case now. Auntie Sue poked her forehead, half-cross. Forgotten you were crying your nose off a minute ago? Embarrassed, Shioli pursed her lips and crouched to gather the broken bowl shards, brisk, as if she'd tidy away the hurt and the shyness both. Outside, Shiomei had tugged me a fair way down the road. Dusk had come and the village lane was dim. Shiomei, you head back if there's nothing else. It's near dark, no good being seen. She blinked and pressed closer. I'm a girl and I'm not scared. What are you scared of? Outgoing, no mistaking it, that bold northern girl streak. Ahem, I'm to be your brother-in-law someday. She tossed off a low mutter. Nothing's settled yet. No telling who ends up with who. What's that? The wind carried a word or two, and I caught the tail of it. She raised a brow with a teasing grin and dared a bolder line about a man's wife's younger sister being half a. Before she finished, my head went buzz, and I clapped a hand over her loose little mouth without thinking. You, a girl, talking such nonsense. For a second time stopped. We were very close, and even reckless as she was, her face went red to the ears. She knocked my hand off like she'd been shocked, hands not knowing where to go. I'll head back. And she fled like a startled rabbit, not once looking back. I stood watching her go and sighed. What a thing. Home again. Before I'd even reached the yard, I found fourth granddad squatting at my gate with 3 dogs, smoking his dry pipe, the ember winking in the dark. Fourth granddad, what brings you? He looked up, saw I'd come from the direction of Shioli's house, and a contented smile crossed his lined face. The boys finally wised up, drifting toward a girl's place. I've brought you my 3 hunting dogs. He stood and dusted off. I was puzzled, but it wasn't the moment to ask. I opened the gate and brought him in. The 3 dogs came into the yard, saw Xiaodian at the doorway, and not one barked or even growled in warning. They all lowered themselves, an uneasy rumble in their throats, and ended up flat on the ground, tails clamped, as if afraid of something. Xiaoyan's that fierce. I was wondering at it when a slap landed on the back of my head. What sweet dream are you having? Look where Xiaoyan's lying. I followed his finger and found Xiaodian sprawled lazily by the huge brown bear and black bear hides. The 3 dogs had caught the heavy reek of beasts and lost their nerve. They say a fox borrows the tiger's might. Here Xiaodian was borrowing the bear's. Fourth granddad, why'd you bring the 3 dogs over? I poured him a bowl of water and asked it straight. He sipped and sighed it out. I'm old. Won't have much strength left for the hills. He pointed at them in turn. 3 plain hounds. The yellow and black striped one's big cat, a rare low sinner, made for ground tracks. The other 2, Hoosie and Bowsy, ordinary hounds, but I trained them myself. All 3 in their prime, the eldest Tabby only 5. Big Cat earned the grand name for stripes like a tiger's. These 3 I'm giving you. There was a deep reluctance in it. I hope they'll keep running the hills with you, not waste away as my yard dogs. He knew his trips and would only thin out, and a hunting dog is born for the forest. Good dogs shouldn't be buried. Even the 2 plain ones he'd trained by hand. No match for a tusker, but more than enough to run down a year-over roe deer or boar. It struck something in me. I knew the old hunter's way. When an old hunter hands a younger man the dogs he poured his heart into, it isn't just giving dogs. It's a passing down, taking you as a true successor. I looked at him and said it solemnly. Rest easy, fourth granddad. I'll treat them well. He nodded and loosed the leashes. The 3 settled a moment, then crept up to Xiaodian, sniffing one another over. Xiaoyan's wits run high, and on his own ground with his master's backing behind him. That lord of the yard swagger came right up. Without much effort he pressed down Big Cat, the lead dog, with sheer bearing, and the other 2, who'd always followed Big Cat, lowered their heads when their chief gave way. Your Xiaoyan's the real thing. Junliang stared. He knew Big Cat's ferocity well, sharp-nosed and once locked on. It never let go, a dog full of blood. And here, in under 10 minutes, brought to heel. Xiaoyan's a head center, fourth granddad. High wits, I said, not without pride. He nodded, envy in his eyes. A head center, peerless at tracking, reading direction off the air itself. He couldn't help thinking that if he'd had one in his youth, his name across the country round would have rung louder still. Oh, and fourth granddad, don't rush off. Day after tomorrow, bear paw at Sister Shioli's. In a later age, bear paw was an unthinkable protected thing. In these years it was a rare delicacy, and I'd never so much as seen one in all my life. Even Junliang, an old bear hunting hand, had never tasted it. Those years were poorer than now. Belly's not even full. Get a rarity like that, and you'd no business eating it yourself. You'd have traded it first thing for grain to fill a family's mouths. You little stinker, don't know the price of rice and you'll really eat it? He stopped mid-step and glared back, all smiles. Bare paws precious now, worth a deal of money in the county. Not saving to marry a wife, just frittering it away. But the gleam of anticipation in those cloudy old eyes gave him away. Poor and hard as the times were, who wasn't curious what that legendary taste was like? I know, fourth granddad. Never had it. It's an itch is all. I grinned, scratching my head. The scolding fell away, and he dropped his voice, gone serious. I've hung the galls from your beam to dry. Come spring, the medicine'll have ripened, and they'll fetch a good price. His cloudy eyes fixed on me. You selling to the co-op or the black market? I'd meant to sell quietly to the co-op for some money and coupons, but I'd heard the black market doubled the price, and I could dig up other things there besides. As a transmigrator, I knew roughly what was coming after 1958, a famine that would sweep nearly the whole country, and I had to prepare ahead. That famine would start late in 1959 and run 3 years, only easing toward 1962. The first thing was to use the year I had to take as much game as I could and turn it into money and grain. I think the black market, fourth granddad. I want to buy some grain too. These years buying grain took grain coupons, rationed by quota, money alone. Without coupons, bought nothing. Right. Come spring I'll take you to the black market. With that he got up, slapped his backside, and left. I went back in and spent near an hour getting the brown bear hide off whole. I'd promised the headman, so I'd do it, and there'd be plenty of need for him ahead. Under cover of dark, I carried the hide to Feng Yin's. Granny, I'd barely stepped in when I saw the headman's wife washing clothes in the yard. She set them down, smiling, and rose. Shanha, what brings you? She'd heard about the bears, of course, just hadn't reckoned I'd come this late. Brought Granddad a bearskin. At which her face went black, and she shouted toward the inner room. Zhao Fengyan, you old wretch, get out here. He came out muddled. What? Cursing me again. Then he saw the huge hide in my arms, and me grinning at him, and his wife glaring daggers. Shanha, what brings you? Before I could speak, she had him by the ear. What? Headman, so many years it's gone to your head. Learn to go cadging things off the juniors now? Where's your face? He was bewildered, hopping at the ear twist. Wife, hold on. When did I cadge off a junior? Decades a headman. He'd never ask a younger person for a thing. It'd cut his own standing. Shauna brought you a bearskin, and you still talk back. The light dawned, and the pain and anger flared. Who the devil asked him for it? This little stinker bragged to my face yesterday that when he took a bear, he'd give me a hide. And one day on, he actually did it. And I never agreed. Cursed and ear-twisted for nothing. Where was a headman's dignity? She turned to me, still gripping his ear. True. Floored by how fierce Granny was. Usually the gentlest, smilliest person in the village. I swallowed. Ahem, Granny, it's true. She let go, half believing. He rubbed his burning ear and glared at me. This rascal came to ruin me on purpose. Shanha, why didn't you set your granny straight just now? Damn it, that hurt. Her eyes cut sideways. What are you glaring at Shanha for? Mend it if there's fault. Take warning if there's none, understand. Granny had been a well-off family's daughter in her youth, schooled in a private school, even taught a few years after liberation. When the scholar's edge came up, even I shivered. Shanha. She turned, gentler now, but firm. Take this hide back, we can't have it. A bearskin would fetch good money at the co-op. That's right. You think I'd take your hide? Take it back. Granny, Granddad. It's autumn now, and come winter how cold it gets. This brown hide's big. You could make 2 bearskin coats and stay warm. Northeast winters routinely ran 20, 30 below. The coldest could hit 50 below. The villages got through on the fire calm, burning corn stalks, sorghum stalks, branches, bark, coal cakes. Only some work units had collective heating, never the countryside. They couldn't afford it. In a word, a northeast country winter was got through on thick clothes and sheer endurance. You little wretch, Granny scolded, warm inside. The boy was good, thinking to bring them winter clothing. Take it back, I don't lack a bearskin. Fengyan huffed, pleased underneath. He'd said it in jest, and the boy had actually delivered. Granny, I've carried it all the way here. You can't send it back. The hide's heavy. I set it on the ground and made to leave, but he grabbed me, insisting I take it back, and we tugged at it a good while until Granny spoke. Shanha, like this. You don't know how to work a hide, so leave it here. You're up the hills hunting all the time, and in winter the cold's fierce. Granny'll make you a bearskin coat to wear in. Thoughtful that. Granny, you're the best. But I've got the other one, the black bears. That one's smaller. Make the coat from that, and it'll be plenty for me. This brown hide's the biggest and thickest. You and Granddad keep it. Make a coat or a sleeping pad, and you won't fear the cold off the Kong. And before they could answer, I bolted, came running back with the rolled black bear hide, dropped it, and waved. Granddad, Granny, I'm off. Gone into the dark before they could get a word in. After I'd gone, Granny gazed off the way I'd left and sighed. That's Shanha, good-hearted boy. Pity, though. If he'd learned a little, known a few characters, sharp as he might have sat an exam someday. She'd taught a few years at the village school. To her, books were the best road out, and I, orphaned young and raised in a poor uncle's house, had never had a proper day of schooling, nor had Juzi. Enough, each to his own fate, Feng Yin said, picking up the hide and dusting it, moved. That boy's a fine hand at hunting. A bowl handed him by heaven. Sit him down to read, and he'd likely crawl with lice. That's not the life he'd want. Decades a headman, he couldn't claim to know everyone in Kaoshan, but the Zhao Juniors he had a read on, and Shanha was a born hunter, the forest in his bones. School, for him, might truly be neither here nor there. In these years, eating your fill and staying alive beat all. Granny rolled her eyes and let fly. Pa, you great oaf, don't know a character the size of a peck. Wouldn't know one if a carrying pole fell over. What do you know about a future? He knew the lecture was coming and folded. All right. I can't out-talk you. You're the learned one. I'm going to bed. He carried the hide off to the inner room. Granny shook her head and put the other hide away carefully, meaning tomorrow to find a big basin and soak it in wood ash first. Tanning a hide is finicky work. Next morning, still asleep, I was woken again by the dogs barking in the yard. I came out yawning and heard that familiar voice once more. I opened the gate. Zhao Shioli. Sister Shioli, what is it? This time she didn't duck her head shyly. A pair of bright, watery eyes was fixed on me. Shanha, I want to tell you something. I blinked. She was so serious I thought something had happened. Come in, don't stand out there. I brought her in, and we sat on opposite edges of the bed, a space between us, the air gone awkward and close. Sister Shioli, what's the matter? Her hand gripped her hem tight, like she'd made up her mind to something. Shanha, I like you. Will you marry me? My head went boom and blank, eyes wide, staring at her in disbelief. I'd never imagined Shioli would come and say it outright, and ask whether I'd marry her. These years, village marriage mostly ran on a parent's word and a matchmaker's mouth. A girl coming to a man's door to confess was unheard of. Village girls usually married at 18 or 19, and one still unwed at 21 like Shioli was already pointed at behind her back as an old maid. Sister Shioli, you really like me? I was dazed, racking my memory. We'd seen each other often enough as kids, but the words between us wouldn't have filled a basket. There was nothing special I could point to. Her face went red as a ripe apple, all the way to the ears. She dropped her head, but nodded hard. I know Shiome likes you too. Thin as a gnat, but every word clear. She's my own sister. By rights I shouldn't take from her. But my ma told me, some things you can yield, and some come once in a lifetime and you can't. She lifted her head, those watery eyes brimming, stubbornly holding the tears back. Shanha, I truly like you. I've liked you a long time. I was thoroughly lost, my head a-paced. Like me a long time? I've no memory of it. I've nothing to recommend me. A poor boy, just decent at hunting. Sister Shioli, when did you start liking me? She bit her lip and shook her head, refusing the question. She steeled herself, edged a little closer, and pressed me. Eye to eye. Never mind that. Just say whether you'll marry me. If you will, send a matchmaker to my house to ask for me. If you won't, then today, take it that I never came. Take it that I never said it. Shioli was like a different person today, a do-or-die resolve all through her she'd never shown in 21 years. Sister Shioli, my mouth opened, but something stoppered my throat and not a whole word would come. I hadn't reckoned the soft-spoken Shioli would lay her heart open to me so plainly. Seeing me hesitate, The light in her eyes guttered out and the blood drained from her face, leaving her white. So he's unwilling. Of course. 21. An old maid the village turned its nose at, and her sister Shiome, only 18, young and fresh. Why would he choose her? A great wave of hurt and despair rose in her. Her nose stung, and she couldn't hold it. Big tears rolled down onto the coarse cloth, blotting dark. She wheeled and made to run, only to flee a place that shamed her past bearing. But 2 steps and her wrist was caught in a hand like an iron clamp. I gave her no chance to struggle, just a light pull, and drew her whole self back against my chest. Ah, she cried out, off balance. And by the time she found her feet, she was pressed to a solid chest, my face a hand's breadth from hers. It was the closest she'd ever been to a man, and the nearness of it ran through her like a current and went soft in her limbs. Shauna, didn't you not want to marry me? She said into my chest, thin and tearful. Let me go. But my arm round her waist only drew her tighter. Who said I didn't want to marry you? My voice came low and rough, a wry laugh in it. You spring this on me out of nowhere. Don't I get a second to turn my head round? This is a marriage, the big thing. I've got to think how much bride gift your house deserves, when to hold the wedding. She gave a small sound, face flushed. Shauna, don't. She pushed me off and stood there at a loss. You really will marry me? I smiled and took her hand again. If I didn't mean to marry you, would I send your house all that pork? Her tight-strung heart eased a little. Pa, so you're a little wretch with designs on me. You really are. She rolled her eyes at me, then caught herself, not wanting to say it too hard. The ancients put it well, I said. The osprey's call on the river isle. A fair and gentle maid, a fine match for a gentleman. You're so pretty, anyone's heart would stir. It came off my tongue easy. In a later age, a woman would have called it greasy. In these years, it was a weapon. She dropped her head again, shy, and murmured, Then, when will you marry me? I straightened my face and held her hands tight. Surely, I've no money yet. Can you wait for me till next year? Next year I'll sell the 2 galls, take more game, rebuild this whole old house, and bring you home properly, with a face. Marriage was easy enough in these years. 3 or 5 yuan of bride gift was plenty, get a letter from the headman, a stamp at the township, and you were husband and wife-in-law. But I didn't want it shabby. This was the first time in 2 lives I'd take a wife, and I wouldn't shortchange her, wouldn't have her marry in and live in a drafty wreck. Hearing how much thought I'd given it, a new house and all, her eyes went hot and the tears came again, moved. 21 and unwed, she'd had the village's ugly talk heaped on her. An old maid no one wanted, too proud for the village, set on marrying up into the city, when all along she'd had one person in her heart, a figure that came and went like the wind. Now the wish buried so deep was finally to come true. Shauna, she couldn't hold back, threw her arms round my waist and buried her face in my chest, weeping hard. All those years of the village's talk, the fingers pointed at her spine, pouring out with the scalding tears. All right, Shioli, don't cry. I patted her back, clumsy. Get home now, don't worry your ma. Tomorrow I'll go beg Granny to call on your house as the matchmaker. That it was the headman's wife she'd be asking moved her again. The more weight the man's side gives you, the more respected the matchmaker, and in all of Kaoshan, getting the headman's wife to call in person was the highest face there was. All right, I'll go home and wait. We lingered a while longer before she left, glad to her bones, looking back every few steps. When she'd gone, I let out a long breath, the smile impossible to hide. Her sudden confession had broken my plans, but it set down a stone that had been on my heart, and I was full of drive. Looks like it's back into the hills. A wife, a new house, all of it built out of money. After 2 huge hauls, I'd truly gotten the hunting itch, and the thought that this was for a future with Shioli made the joy of a full sled something no one else could feel. And a good chance to test 4th Granddad's dogs, see what they're made of. No sooner said. I threw together a meal, cut a big piece off yesterday's tusker, and tossed it to Shouty and the 3 new hounds. They ate with relish, but I didn't fill them. Before a hunt, they keep keen on hunger. I checked the Type 38, the knife, the food and water, kicked up full, pulled the sled, and led 4 spirited hounds back toward the deep hills. 4th Granddad wasn't waiting at the village mouth this time. Yesterday must have truly worn him out. He was old, not like a young man springing back from one night's sleep. The dawn wind was cold on my face, but my heart was all heat. Shouty on. We're off. Inside the Ileo, the air changed. Wet rotted leaf mixed with the clean scent of pine needles, sharpening you the moment it hit. I drew a deep breath, patted Xiaoyan's head, and gave the order. Shouty on. Keep on the boar. Let's see if we can take a few yellow manies today. He barked, lifted that big head, and worked the air, his black nose like the finest radar reading every thread of scent on the wind. Big Cat beside him was the opposite, head down, nose all but on the ground, sorting the trails under the dead leaves. One scouting high, one tracking low, the two suited each other well. Soon Xiaotian caught something certain, gave a low whine, and shot off into the deep trees like black lightning. The other two new hounds from fourth granddads were still bewildered, turning circles, glancing the way Xiaotian had gone, then back at me, lost. You three just stick with me, I soothed. Before, with only Xiaotian, I'd had to run flat out to keep him in sight, which meant real danger, some beast bursting from a corner and no time to react. Now, with Big Cat the low center at my side, I was easier, a second pair of eyes, and a live alarm at the critical moment. Come, after Xiaotian. Big Cat dropped his head and tracked Xiaoyan's scent, not fast but rock steady, so I could follow at ease and keep a sharp watch all round. Not half an hour weaving through the woods, a faint barking carried on the wind. Urgent, hard, Xiaoyan's voice. Quarry found, and quick. I picked up my pace toward it. But just as I drew near, almost able to see the bushes shaking ahead, Big Cat stopped dead and clamped his teeth on my trouser leg. Not hard enough to hurt, but with an unmistakable, stubborn pull, hauling me back. A hound does that for one reason only, deadly danger ahead. My nerves snapped taut, the joy gone. Without hesitation, I swung the Type 38 round to the front, worked the bolt, a round chambering with a clack, flicked off the safety, the whole string of it a blur. I dropped to a half-crouch behind an old tree, eyes sweeping like a hawk's. The forest is an animal's best cover, and no one knows what a tangle of dry brush hides. Big Cat began to growl, hackles up, fixed on a thicket not far off. I put the muzzle on it. It was unnaturally still there. No sound, not a leaf stirring. But I trusted Big Cat without condition. Something's in there. I didn't know what, but a standoff like this tests patience and nerve, and the smallest slackening could be fatal. Then Xiaoyan's barking came again, more frantic, and the thicket began to shake violently, the shaking driving toward me fast, as if some huge thing were about to break out of the earth. I swallowed, palms sweating, and gripped the cold rifle. A golden shape exploded from the brush like lightning. A leopard, enormous, its rosettes shimmering in the broken sun with a cold murder in them. In the blink of an eye, it had crossed a dozen meters, claws spread, carving a death arc through the air, and it was on me. My mind went blank. My body answered on instinct alone. Crack. The shot tore the silence. The round went clean into the leopard's open maw and through its skull. The beast stiffened in midair, crashed down, rolled several turns on its own momentum, twitched twice, and was gone. My legs went soft and I sat down hard, chest heaving. Too close. A meter, 1 meter, and those cold claws would have opened my throat. I turned to Big Cat, still growling, and patted him with my heart still in my mouth. Big Cat, good boy. Thank you today. Without his warning in time, I'd truly have been finished here. Adult leopard killed. Fast reaction, precise shot. Score, 68. Reward, 7 hunting points. Hunting points remaining, 16. Looking at the dead leopard, I breathed out long, the fear giving way to a wild joy. A leopard, a whole leopard hide. That was real hard currency. One in good condition fetched a sky-high price in the city, and my shot had gone in through the mouth, keeping the whole pelt flawless. Ha ha. I'm rich, truly rich. Just as I drew the skinning knife, the thicket shook again. I jolted up, swung the gun back round, hard in my throat, but nothing came. Then Xiaotian ambled out, something furry in his mouth. Xiaotian, come. He set it gently at my feet, and I looked and near burst with gladness. A leopard cub, eyes not yet open. If it had opened its eyes and known its mother, I'd have had no choice but to put it down, but eyes still shut meant it could be tamed. Raised up, with system points behind it, its fighting power would far outstrip a dog's, and someday I could just send it to hunt the yellow manies and boar in my place. Ha ha ha, Shouty on, you're brilliant. I rubbed his head hard. I tucked the faintly mewing cub into my coat, felt the small, warm life, glanced at the cold mother, and sighed. Forget it. I've got your child. That's a kind of bond. I won't gut you. But this hide, I still have to take it. I really need the money. I peeled the pelt off slow, rolled it careful, then dug a small pit and buried her. The hide was the most valuable thing on a leopard. The bones could go for medicine too, but there was no need. Done. I held the cub, delighted. I'm your master now. Let's give you a name. How's little Goldie? No objection. Then it's settled. The trip's best haul wasn't the costly pelt, but the small life in my coat. Woof, woof. Shouty on barked at my feet, eyes bright with excitement, and bolted off toward another thicket before I could speak. Hey, you dog, slow down. I tucked Goldie in tighter and strode after him. Through the waist-high brush it opened out, and on a flat patch of grass, a sight stopped my breath. A flock, 5 or 6 of them, brown coats, slender tails, horns curved slightly back, grazing on dry grass. Not common goats, long-tailed gorals, what locals called green goats. Wary as anything, masters of the cliffs. To meet them on flat ground was sheer luck. Hush, Shouty on, quiet. He was itching to open his throat, but I stopped him. Gorals are skittish past belief. The slightest stir, and they scatter and run, fast. I eased the gun onto a smaller one, plainly not grown, the meat sure to be tender. Clack. The faint bolt sound was a thunderclap in that stillness. The instant it sounded, every grazing head snapped up, eyes full of alarm, fixed right at where I hid. Bad. The lead buck, the brawniest, blew white breath and bolted for the rock face, the rest exploding into brown streaks in every direction. No time to aim clean. I threw my arm up and fired on feel at one fleeing back. Crack. The shot rang through the valley, and far off a goral dropped, rolled twice, and went still. I worked the bolt for a second, but in that blink the rest were gone without a trace. Damn, that fast. One faint scrape of metal, and a flock 100 meters off was spooked. Nature's creatures, marvelous. Still, my own speed and aim were enough. A hit at near 150 meters, a thing to be proud of. I went over, gutted it neatly, and tossed the heart, liver, and lungs to the 4 dogs that came running. No hanging in the tree this time. For mouths fighting over scraps that wouldn't go round, let them sort it. I shouldered the whole goral, staggering under it but satisfied, went back to the sled, loaded up, and walked out of the Ileo content. It was midday coming home, chimneys smoking, everyone at lunch, the road empty, which spared me a crowd of curious villagers. Back in my rundown yard I skinned and butchered the goral, and soon a whole sheep was cut clean into pieces. Finally, mutton tonight. I'd been craving hot pot mutton a long while. In these years mutton was a rarity, dearer than pork. Even farm sheep were scarce, since a sheep only gives meat and can't work a field like an ox, so only cadres above or wealthy houses ate it. Shouty on, mind Goldie for me, don't let him wander. I settled the sleeping cub in a basket lined with an old padded coat. I'm stepping out back soon. I found a rag, rolled the neatly folded leopard pelt up, made sure nothing showed from outside, and carried it off to 4th Granddad's. 4th Granddad. Home. The gate creaked open and June Leon came out with a chipped bowl of yellow cornmeal gruel, eyeing me. What smelled it? Come to beg a meal off your 4th Granddad. I grinned and leaned in. Not eating. I've got something good to show you. That pricked his curiosity. He sniffed hard and frowned. Blood smell. You went in again today. That old hunter's nose was sharp. Can't fool you. Aye, and a big haul. Good stuff. I barred his gate and pulled him into the inner room. What's got you so secretive? He followed, muttering. I laid the rag bundle on the Kong and unwrapped it layer by layer, and when the dazzling gold and its black rosettes came clear, his pupils snapped tight. Bloody hell, a leopard hide. He set the bowl down with a bang, gruel splashing, never minding it, and was at the Kong in a stride, lifting the whole pelt up in trembling hands. That golden ground, the coin-black markings, near glowed in the dim room. Whole, head to tail, flawless. Shanha, don't tell me you took a leopard. His voice cracked. He stroked the fur, turned it over and over, more astonished by the look. This good, this whole. A headshot, not one extra hole. He sucked in a breath. Shanha, sold at the black market this fetches, at least. He held up one hand and turned it once. 100 yuan. 100 yuan. In an age when a common worker's monthly wage was around 30, a fortune, more than 3 months of a strong man's labor without eating or drinking. That's what I came about, fourth granddad. Take me to the black market tonight. Let's move this hide. His eyes shone. He waited. He knew the risk and the profit better. He nodded hard. Done. Leave it to your fourth granddad. 11 tonight, the blackest hour. Wait under the old locust at the village mouth. I'll take you. He'd sold game before. Pheasant, rabbit, roe, boar at the most, and few enough boar at that. But looking at this pelt, his feelings ran every which way. He had to grant it. My hunting gift was heaven shoving food into my mouth. A few days in, and not once empty-handed. Each haul more frightening, and now a leopard. Settled then. He rolled the hide careful and handed it back. You're a little monster, boy. I grinned. Fourth granddad. I took a goral too. Meat's all dressed. Don't cook tonight. Come to mine. We'll do hot pot. What? Are you the mountain god reborn? How do you keep running into these treasures? Junliang was undone. A lifetime hunting, and he'd never even glimpsed a goral, a thing that scarcely comes down off the heights. To take them you climb deep into the Ileo. Just luck, I said. Anyway, I'll leave the pelt with you. And remember, dinner at mine, hot pot. He'd meant to keep me for lunch, but thinking of my haul, he held his tongue. Don't worry, I'll be there. Never tasted goral in my life. Home, I barred the gate and crept in. Goldie was curled in a corner, mewing faint, pitiful. I crouched over the furry scrap, stumped. Where do I find you, Milk? He was too young to wean, teeth not in, meat out of the question, and milk in these years was dearer than meat. Goldie, today you'll have to make do. Tonight at the black market I'll trade for some milk powder, and you'll eat your fill. Keeping the little thing would cost early on, but it was a long bet. Once he weaned and could take meat, it'd all be easy and grown. With system points, he could hunt for me. A real help. Worth it. I settled him in the inner room, locked up, and went to Shioli's. Shanha, what brings you? Auntie Sue was sorting vegetables in the yard, all smiles and a little puzzled. Shioli had told her last night that I'd taken to her, that the headman's wife would come to ask for her tomorrow. What was I doing here at midday? Auntie, took a goral this morning. You and Shioli come to mine tonight. We'll do hot pot. Her vegetables dropped from her hands. They'd only had the yellow mane yesterday, and the bear paws were curing by my method for tomorrow. And now goral today? She laughed till her wrinkles bunched like a chrysanthemum. Years on years, when had she ever had such an immortal's life? Never mind meat every meal. A full belly every meal had been a dream. The more she thought it, the surer she was that matching Shioli to me was the rightest thing she'd done in her life. I know. She slapped her thigh. I've got 2 bottles of old liquor Shioli's father buried. Never had the heart to drink. I'll bring them tonight. We'll have a proper few cups. I nodded, my eyes drifting toward the room. Auntie Sue, who'd been through it, caught it at once and clapped, feigning realization. My memory, too glad to think. Shanha, you've not eaten? In, have a bite of lunch first. And she hauled me inside. Shioli and Shomei were at the meal. Shioli flushed and dropped her head shyly at the sight of me. But Shomei frowned, gave a hard, cold snort, slapped her chopsticks down, left her food, and stalked into the inner room. The air froze, Auntie Sue's smile with it. She rounded on the inner door, hands on hips. Shomei, have I gone soft on you? Bold now. Kicking up at your own mother. See if I don't sort you out today. She rolled up her sleeves to go in. Auntie, don't be angry. I cut in quick. Look, my belly's growling. Get me a bowl, eh? The diversion cooled her. Before she could speak, Shioli rose, red-faced, soft-voiced. I'll fetch it. She came back with a steaming bowl of cracked corn porridge, a bun, and some pickles left on the table, and I cleaned it off without ceremony, wiped my mouth, and smiled at her. Shioli, I told your ma. I took a goral this morning. Come to mine tonight, hot pot. You and your ma come early. Help cut the mutton. Get it ready. Said easy, as if they were family already. She went redder than a ripe apple and murmured a thread of a yes. From there, I went straight to the headman's. A good thing like this, not to forget the granddad who treated me as his own. Feng Yin and Granny were even more stunned than Junliang. holding my hands and marveling that I was truly able, the Zhao family's lucky star. Last, I went to Zhuzi's, busy being glad over the bears. I'd forgotten to bring him any bear meat, though the boar from before likely wasn't gone yet. Sister-in-law, Qingyu came out, a small smile at seeing me. Don't fuss tonight. Bring brother Zhuzi and the children, the whole family, to mine for hot pot. Her eyes went wide, speechless a while. Then, Shanha, you're truly something. She knew how hard Zhuzi's hunting had been, and never had he hauled in like this every few days. Then her gladness dimmed, and she shook her head, bitter. Your heart's in the right place, but we won't come. Brother Zhuzi doesn't want to be seen. Since the leg, he'd gone solitary and short-tempered, shut in his room, no outsiders. Sister-in-law, he can't go on like this. People are made to live together. You can't hide from the world forever. My voice firmed. Leave it to me. I'll come fetch him myself tonight. And if he won't walk, I'll carry him on my back. Her eyes reddened, and she gave a bitter little nod. All right, head home, sister-in-law. I'll get a nap. Busy night ahead. When dusk fell, my little yard was bright with lamps and loud with people. Shanha, how do you do hot pot with no sesame paste? Granny set 2 jars of it on the table, a rarity, precious. In all of Kaoshan, likely only the headman's house kept it on hand. Granny, sit. I waved Granddad and Granny onto the stools. Shioli and Auntie Sue were busy in the outer room, 4th Granddad teasing the dogs, the whole yard alive. It warmed me. Qingyu came last, pulling a handcart with Zhuzi on it, and the yard went quiet. Shanha, he seemed awkward, unwilling to lift his head. I went over and lifted him onto my back. Brother Zhuzi, that's the way. You've got to come out. Granny took Qinyu's hand and fell to chatting, and Jinglei ran the 3 kids round the yard, and watching it, something in Zhuzi's clouded heart seemed to mend a little. By sundown the food was ready. Seasonings were nothing like a later age's spread, but in years when a white flour bun was a feast, to sit together over a steaming hot pot of mutton was an immortal's pleasure, every eye fixed on the pot, throats working. Wow, this meat's so tender, my tongue's about to melt. Jinglei was first in, a slice scalded just right shoved in his mouth, hissing at the heat but not parting with it. First time in his life, he'd tasted mutton. Look at the boy go. Laughter all round, the mood up again. I ate with relish too, Goral with no gaminess at all, fine and clean, dipped in Granny's rich sesame paste, a marvel. Auntie Sue brought out her late husband's buried liquor, and I went bowl for bowl with Granddad and 4th Granddad, the men's tongues loosening with each cup. 3 rounds in, when everyone was flushed and full, Auntie Sue stood with her bowl, swaying, cleared her throat, swept the yard, and settled her gaze on me. Everyone hear me. Shanha said tomorrow he'll send Granny to my house to ask for my girl. She paused, and her voice rose. But a chosen day's no better than a lucky one. Why not today, before Granddad and 4th uncle and everyone, settle Shanha and Shioli's match here and now? The yard erupted, a different look on every face. Farthest off, Qingyu went white, glanced at me, bit her lip hard, something unsayable in her eyes. Auntie Sue had been watching her sidelong. She'd picked this moment on purpose to cut off, once and for all, the talk that had run round the village about Qingyu and me, and any thought Qingyu shouldn't be having. But for all her reckoning, it wasn't Qingyu who blew up. It was her own second daughter. Why's it settled just like that? Xiaomei shoved her chair back and stood, eyes round, glaring at her mother. Shanha and I grew up together. Why does my elder sister get to come from behind? At 3 I was trailing after him every day. Where was she then? The room froze. The tears came, being big, rolling. She couldn't fathom why he'd marry her sister. Hadn't she made herself plain last time? Hey, second girl, are you defying me? Auntie Sue raised a hand to strike. This time Xiaomei didn't fold. She stuck her neck out. Hit me. Beat me to death. I just don't understand why. Zhao Shanha, say it. Do you like my sister, or me? My mouth twitched. Xioli, gentle and quiet, was the wife you'd choose without a second thought. But Xiaomei, bold to love and bold to hate, open and bright, stirred something too. And we did have a foundation from childhood. For a moment, I couldn't get a word out. Say one name, and I wronged the other. 4th Granddad watched me with a teasing, spectating look. The headman was plain astonished. 2 sisters over 1 man. Unheard of. Granny's face was worried. Learned as she was, she knew my bind. Second girl, sit down. Don't press Shanha, she said, rising slowly, sweeping the yard, sighing. Feelings don't go by first come. That you've this heart for Shanha is a good thing. But in the end it's for Shanha himself to say who he'll take to wife. Before she finished, Shiomei broke into racking sobs. I just like him. Why can my sister marry him and I can't? Why won't anyone even give me a fair chance to try? The bleeding from the heart questions moved even the worldly granny, who'd been schooled and taught, more open-minded than the village. Shiomei's reach for freedom and fairness sat well with her, in a way. And while no one knew what to do, Shiomei cried out a thing that drained the soul from the yard. Fine, fine. I'll marry Shanha alongside my sister then. I'd rather be the lesser one. Dead silence. The charcoals crackle suddenly loud. Every eye went wide, as if they'd heard the impossible. The new China's marriage law had abolished plural marriage long since. Who dared say such a thing in the open? In some far hill villages, such things lingered behind closed doors, hidden away, but shouted before the whole village's elders? Heads dropped in embarrassment, no one knowing how to react. Granny broke the suffocating quiet at last, frowning. Nonsense. You and your sister are blood. There's no sense in two sisters wedding one man. It'd be a laughingstock. She scolded, but to Auntie Sue's ears it landed like a light going on. She'd come up from the old society. She carried few such rules in her. If the second girl herself didn't mind being the lesser, then why not see it through for her? A son-in-law's half a son. Tie two daughters to a tree like Shanha and the days ahead. Auntie Sue's mind quickened. The meal had started off happy, but Shiomei's outburst soured it, and everyone drifted home without spirit. Back at her own house, Shiomei's head drooped. She dared talk back to her mother out there because Granny and the headman were watching. Home, with no one to shield her, Su Chui could deal with her however she liked. Su Chui gave a hard little laugh. What? Plenty of mouth a moment ago. Gone dumb now. Shiomei set her teeth and lifted her head, resentful. I'll say it again. Why does my elder sister get to marry Zhao Shanha? Why won't anyone even give me a chance? Shioli dropped her head, at a loss, then raised it and looked at her sister. Shiomei, I love Shanha. I can't give him up. If you really want to marry him too, we could, together. Her voice shrank to nothing at the end. Well, if even the eldest could accept it, then Su Chui had nothing left to worry about. Enough. What do the two of you look like? Fighting over a husband in front of the headman and fourth uncle. Have you no shame? She sighed, eyed them both. Second girl, I'll ask you one last time. Have you thought it through? You'd truly be the lesser one, with no name and no standing, following Shanha like that. Shiomei's head shot up, hope flaring in her eyes, nodding without pause. Ma, I'm willing, 10,000 times willing. Watching her second daughter throw herself away so eagerly, Su Chui felt a sour pang. A grown girl past a mother's reining in. However fine Shanha was, she couldn't have her own girl debase herself like this. She bore down on it, word by word. Even if you can never get that certificate with Shanha, even if the children you bear must call your elder sister mother, even if you spend your whole life a shadow with no name, you'd still be willing? Shiomei glanced at her sister, and a bright smile broke out. No certificate, then no certificate. As long as I can see Brother Shanha every day, I'm content. She hugged Shioli's arm. Besides, with my sister here, would she ever treat me unfairly? Oh ho, now she's your dear sister? Su Chui rolled her eyes, then turned to the eldest. And you, Shioli? You truly don't mind? This isn't a day or two, it's a lifetime. Shioli's shoulders trembled. She was quiet a few seconds. What woman wants to share her husband? But this was her own sister. The sister who'd slept under the same quilt since they were small, who'd poured out every secret of her heart to her. What could she do? Not see it through, and watch her sister live a lifetime in resentment? She shook her head, tears turning in her eyes, but not falling. Ma, I don't mind. The two of us sisters should have each other wherever we go. Married over there, we can lean on one another. Fine. Su Chui forced the word out as if it cost all her strength, slapped her thigh, and settled it. Since neither of you objects, then your ma will throw away this old face of hers. Tomorrow I'll call Shanha over. If he nods, then it's settled. Elsewhere, deep in the night, the moon high, I paced under the big locust at the village mouth, a dozen rats clawing at my insides. Near 11, a lean, hard figure came slowly out of the village dark. Fourth granddad. Oh ho, a man's blessing of two at once is hard to enjoy, eh? You've still the heart to think about your black market business. The ribbing came open and unhidden, that gloating grin making my mouth twitch. Fourth granddad, could you stop having me on? He didn't take the bait. He stepped up and clapped my shoulder. What? Don't get the benefit and play the saint. Any young man in this village with your luck would laugh himself awake from a dream. The country says no, but we're high in the hills and far from the emperor. Shut your door and live. Who's to mind? And a fine stock like you. Not to spread the Zhao line a little, leave a few heirs, that'd be a waste. The old man had soldiered, was loyal to the country, but on the matter of carrying on the line, he wouldn't give an inch. Fourth granddad, that's not the same thing at all. He only laughed and led me off down a small path. The further we went, the more wrong it felt. Trees thickening, rocks jagged, and by the thin moonlight, I knew the road. Fourth granddad, isn't this the way to the Ileo? He walked easy. The fringe woods of the Ileo, come night, are the black market. The more a place is called dangerous, the safer it is. Those commune people wouldn't have the nerve to push into beast country in the dead of night. I understood, admiring the common folks' cunning. Another quarter hour and it opened out. A clearing ringed by big trees. A few hurricane and kerosene lamps hung in the branches, dim, but plenty of figures moving. The air thick with wet earth and pipe smoke and goods I couldn't name. Everyone talking low, a hum like a great swarm of bees. The scale of it stunned me. At the entrance, two big men slid out of the dark, one barring the way with a hand like a fan. Hold it, pay. Junliang fished out 2 notes, sharp-eyed. I saw it was 5 mao ahead. No small sum in these years. Corn and sorghum ran 6 fin a caddy at the co-op, rice and wheat 9, and the black market dearer still, since the co-op wanted coupons on top of money, and here they didn't. One trip and cost 5 caddies of rice. Steep. Walking through it, I was wondering how to move the hide, but Junliang didn't linger. He pulled me to a spot with a table and a chair, a man seated in it, for armed guards beside. Seeing Junliang, the man jumped up. Oh ho, fourth uncle. You've come. Close up, I knew him. My 8th uncle, Zhao Jiamin. Ha ha. Shanha. I knew you'd turn up here. He clapped my shoulder twice, all-knowing. The bear hunt had been too loud not to reach him. He had good ears in this market. 8th uncle. I'd never have guessed you run this place, I said, genuinely surprised. Junliang snorted at once, lip curling. Him? He hasn't the makings. He's hired muscle. Mine's the floor with a pack of bruisers. Jiamin's face fell at being exposed in front of a junior, and he laughed it off, sour inside. All right, quit braying. Junliang cut in blunt. We've a fine leopard hide. Name a price. Jiamin's eyes went wide. True, fourth uncle. Let me see the quality. A leopard pelt's no use in a peasant's house, but the people up top loved them, those markings especially. Junliang gave me the eye, and I unrolled the rag and spread the pelt. Jianmin was spellbound, lifting a corner in rough fingers, stroking, the golden ground glowing soft in the lamplight, the ink-black rosettes even and beautiful. Good goods, real good goods. Not one bullet hole, perfect. He looked up, eyes burning at me, though he asked Junliang. Fourth uncle, this you and Shanha took together? His look said plainly he didn't believe it. Junliang was old, and a leopard moves like lightning, and Shanha's name in Kaoshan had near made him the #1 gun already. Quit asking and quote, Junliang snapped. A rarity like this had a going rate, and he had a rough notion of it. Fourth uncle, you know the price better than me. I wouldn't dare play tricks. Lots of buyers up top lately for this. Top quality like Shauna's. How about this? He put up 2 thick fingers and turned them over. 400. My heart jumped, far above what I'd reckoned. Junliang didn't so much as lift an eyelid. 420. Jiamin's smile froze, gone awkward. Fourth uncle, that's. Junliang sneered. Grown a spine, boy? Trying to slick your fourth uncle? Think I don't know the rate. Jiamin sighed long, face pained. Fourth uncle, you've got to let the brothers eat too. All these mouths, the overhead's heavy. A pause, testing. 410, all right. Junliang rubbed his fingers, silent, weighing it. Jiamin's heart was in his throat. At last, word by word, 415. Not a fin less. No deal, we walk. Jiamin sucked his teeth, his whole face nodding, then set his jaw like he'd made a great resolve. Done. Fine. I'll just go without my own cut. He had a man fetch a thick cloth sack, counted 415 yuan into it, and handed it to me. The biggest note these years was the 10 yuan Great Unity, and a thick wad of them in hand was heavy enough to quicken my pulse. Fourth uncle, next time you've good goods like this, think of your nephew. The deal done. Jiamin was all warmth again. Junliang turned to go, but I stopped. Eighth uncle, you sell milk powder here? He brightened. Sure do. How much? Black market rule. Money and goods clear. Never ask where things come from or what they're for, so he didn't pry. What's a tin? 5 yuan. Take more, and I'll come down. I sucked in a breath. Milk powder was a gold nugget. A whole leopard pelt fetched 415, and one small tin cost 5. Junliang stared too. What did the boy want all that milk powder for? 5 tins then. Done. 5's a fair lot, Jiamin said easy. Call it 20, a yuan off each, a real courtesy. Fine. I counted out 2 crisp Great Unities, and his man brought 5 tins in a net bag. Money in hand, my mind ran on. Anything here you couldn't get with coupons? But the fringe stalls were mostly grain, salt meat, cloth. I bought some white flour and cornmeal, and at a cloth stall cut a few bolts of sturdy blue and a length of fine cotton, under 5 yuan all told. Done buying. We made to leave, and just at the market's edge, about to slip onto the dark path, a hand reached out and tugged my arm, a low, hoarse voice at my ear. Brother, want gold? My brow rose. Gold. A good thing. Northeast in these years was the country's main gold region, and since 1958 private gold trade was barred, sales only to the People's Bank. This man, plainly, was off a gold mine. What he held was a raw nugget, no shape to it. Come, let's talk aside. I drew the rough-looking fellow into a stand of trees, Junliang standing watch a little off. Brother, how much for this nugget? By the state buying rate, gold ran 4 some yuan a gram, and a nugget this size was half a caddy at least, near 100 yuan's worth. But you couldn't trade it privately, and ordinary folk couldn't afford it, so the black market price ran higher. This much. He held up 3 fingers, 300. Half a caddy of gold for 300 wasn't dear at all. But buying's buying, the black market especially. Ask the sky, answer from the ground. I shook my head and folded one of his fingers down. This. If that'll do, I've got cash on me now. Gold holds value absolutely. Banned to trade privately now, but after 1982 it'd open up, and stockpiling some was a fortune left to children and grandchildren down the line. He thought it over. Fine, check the goods. I took the heavy nugget, bit it, confirmed it real, said wait, and went to Junliang, who had the money sack. Well, he asked. I blinked and held up 2 fingers. His eyes went wide. He nodded. I counted 20 Great Unities and went back. Money one hand, goods the other. Nugget in my coat. We left at once. Junliang's gun never lowered the whole time. Carrying this much money and half a caddy of gold, who wouldn't be on edge? We got back to Kaohsiung, nerves taut, and Junliang didn't hurry home but came in with me. Door shut, his eye fell on the cub. Shanha, the milk powder was for this? It's a wild beast. Can it ever be tamed? Wild things mostly can't, and turn on their keepers in the end. Don't worry, fourth granddad. I've a way to make him mind. I mixed a bottle and fed Goldie. Hand me that nugget. Let me look. After the feeding, I gave it over. He studied it long, brow knit. Out of a mine. All right, and the price was fair. Buying it to make jewelry. To his mind, a young man with something good thinks first of his bride-to-be. I scratch my head. You know me, fourth granddad. Gold can't be traded privately now, but the policy'll open someday. Held in hand, it sets the heart at ease. And it's a bit of a foundation laid early for the Zhao line's later generations. He nodded, thoughtful. Childless himself, he'd never thought of such things, but I was different. A wife next year, children to come. All right, you've grown up, thinking of those after you. A warm smile, 18, and farsightedness that shamed a man who'd lived most of his life. 415 for the pelt, 20 on milk powder, 200 on the gold, 195 left. I split it into 2 stacks. Fourth granddad, this 100's mine, this 95's yours. His face dropped, and a slap landed on the back of my head. You little wretch, Slapping your fourth granddad's face? The leopard's yours, alone. What's it to do with me? What would I do with all that? Carry it into the coffin. Rubbing my head, I grinned. I meant, the 95 includes the gall money from before too. Rubbish. Not one fun. His eyes went wide. If you've a conscience, then remember this. When I'm old and can't move, you spare me a mouthful to eat. And the day I kick off, you break the bowl and see me out. Then I won't have doted on you for nothing. Coarse words, but I heard them clear. He was entrusting his end to me, taking me as a true grandson. My nose stung. I looked at him and said it plain, word by word. Fourth granddad, rest easy. When you can't get about anymore, I'll keep you in your old age. He laughed, pleased, and clapped my shoulder hard. The room had gone warm, and looking at my drafty mud brick walls, a new plan formed. Fourth granddad, with a little money in hand, I want to rebuild this house. Reckon it for me. A new place, how much? I'd had enough of the wreck. Poor before, no choice, but not anymore. He perked up, sized up the room. Timber or mud brick? Red brick was rare these years. Only a few houses in the whole village, the moneyed sort, like the headman's. Could I do red brick, fourth granddad? He thought, working an abacus in his head. Red brick'll do. Only it's dear. Your 190 won't even cover the bricks. I thought a while. He was right. Red brick was scarce and costly. Then what would a mud brick house run? Mud brick used clayey loam. The beams and load-bearing posts timber, not handsome, but solid and lasting, good for decades without trouble. Depends how much you build, he said. My place wasn't large, but the lot was a good 600 square meters. In the Northeast lands the one thing there's plenty of, even house lots running big, and mine was small as they went. Fourth granddad, I want a courtyard house. A mud brick courtyard house was unheard of, but conditions being what they were, I'd make my life a little better however I could. 3 rooms in the main house, 3 side rooms, 1 for the outer room, 1 for storage, the last to be decided. 3 main rooms, and 3 wing rooms each on the east, west, and south. I laid out, eyes brightening as if the broad, handsome courtyard already stood there. He ran the beads in his head and finally said, mud brick alone's easy enough. Timber, mixing mud, the forms, those cost. Mainly it's labor. I'll put the word round. Call all the Zhao men over to lend a hand. Family, no wages needed, just 2 meals a day. He put up 1 finger. All in, 100 yuan's plenty. I waved at once. Fourth granddad, that won't do. They're my uncles, putting in hard labor. How can there be no pay? How about 10 yuan a head for their trouble? I didn't want to owe favors. In my last life, I'd learned a money debt's easy to clear, a favor debt the hardest. His eyes went wide, the fan of a hand near coming up, and he laughed cursed. Rubbish. What nonsense. All one surname, sinew and bone. You pay today, you set the precedent. Next time anyone's house needs a hand, do you pay or not? That's not helping your uncles. It's roasting them over a fire. You want the whole village pointing at your spine, calling Zhao Shanha a no-good who forgot where he came from. These years had their hardship, but their plainness and their rules too. Favors passing back and forth were an invisible net binding the whole village, the whole clan, tight. I was struck dumb, then saw I'd got it wrong, and scratched my head, sheepish. Fourth granddad, I was muddled. Then, no wages, but I'll feed them well. 3 meals a day, something solid every meal, meat at midday. How's that? Now that sounds like a person talking. He didn't argue, his wrinkles all creasing into a grin. You handle it yourself. Just don't shortchange the men. Tomorrow morning go to your granddad. He's headman. Let him organize it. Feng Yan's word in Kaoshan was law. 1 word from him, and every Zhao man who could get away would come. Many hands, and the courtyard would be up inside a month. And autumn now. Cool and clear, the best time to make mud brick, drying fast. Right, I'll see granddad first thing. It was late and the hill road bad, so Junliang stayed the night on my Kong. The 2 of us agreeing to rise early and go in once more before anything else. Feeding dozens of men meant laying in more game. Next morning, first light, I was up early and went to Feng Yan's, told him the whole house plan. Granddad, can it be done? Before he spoke, Granny, stitching a shoe sole, cut in, all gladness. Done, why not? A fine thing. Shauna's of an age to start a family. He should have a proper home. She set her work down. Timber's easy too. Have your second uncle spare you some from the forestry station. Never mind the money. It's only a few sticks. Feng Yin's second son Zhao Early was the station secretary, with the timber of tens of li of hills under him. I shook my head like a rattledrum. Granny, that won't do. Even brothers keep clear accounts. Pay what's owed. Don't have my little business get second uncle in trouble. Feng Yin slapped his thigh, laughing cursed. You little, you know all these rules? Plenty of sense in that head. He knocked his pipe on his shoe sole. Set your mind at ease. Station cadres get a timber quota each year. A perk. Your second uncle's never used his. It'll do for your house. Said no money. So no money. Keep nagging, and this shoe sole finds your backside. Clear off. Watching me, though, he was musing inside. The same Zhao blood. Yet the boy always seemed to touch apart, too polite by half, never quite close. He put it down to a child with no parents, raised on 100 families' rice, with no sense of home or clan to belong to, and felt the more tender for it. Right, Granddad, I'll clear off. I laughed and bolted home to pack for the hills with Junliang. What are we after today, Shanha? On the trail he rubbed his hands, excitement plain on his old face. At his age, money no longer thrilled him. It was the hunt's edge and rush that warmed his blood, and going in with me, he always met the unexpected. A lifetime hunting, and he'd never had a few days' haul like mine. Roe deer, pheasant, yellow manies. Enough to keep everyone in meat, I said. The rest down to luck. A leopard's not cabbage, and gorals rarely come this far down the slope. Last time was luck running over, and all on Xiaoyin's nose. Fine, yellow mane's tender, good eating. Junliang asked nothing more, content not to go home empty. Xiaotian, find us game. I rubbed his head. He wagged hard, lifted that big head, worked the cool morning air, and shot into the woods. I smiled at Junliang. Fourth Granddad, with Big Cat, I don't have to run myself ragged after Xiaotian anymore. His mouth twitched. Big Cat, the hound he'd given me, a true low sinner, a once-in-a-century dog, come to this. Xiaotian finds the game up front, and we lead Big Cat to find Xiaotian. Easy work. Xiaotian was gone in moments, and Fourth Granddad and I followed slow with the 3 dogs, since Big Cat the low sinner could nose out Xiaoyin's trail. But this time we chased a long while and never caught him up. Junliang's heart went unsettled. Something wrong? He smacked his lips. Shanha, go any further in, and we're truly deep in the Ileo. The really deadly beasts, black bears, big paws, wolves, mostly hole up in the deep Ileo and don't come out lightly. Keep charging and heedless, and we might run smack into a big one. A hunter of decades, he knew the danger. Without 7 or 8 hard-handed men together, he'd never dare push this deep. I frowned too. What was with Xiaotian today? Chased something too far in. But it made no sense. The Ileo fringe had game enough. Pheasant and hazel grouse and roe and boar to keep him busy. Why would he drive single-minded into the deep woods? Fourth Granddad, let's go in a little more. I decided. Xiaoyin's no ordinary dog. I can't just abandon him. If we still can't find him, we'll pull back and figure something out from outside. Junliang sucked his teeth, the old flesh of his cheeks tightening, and finally nodded. He knew Xiaoyin's worth better than anyone. A 1 in 10,000 head center, a treasure that finds the trail on its own. To a hunter, a good dog is a second life. You don't abandon it short of the last extremity. All right, your call. We'll go in a bit more. And we picked up the pace behind Big Cat, head down finding the way into the deep Ileo. Another half hour, the trees growing taller and thicker, the light dimmer. Woof, woof, woof. Big Cat suddenly opened up, fierce, frenzied barking, baring his teeth at something far off. We gripped the Type 38s and watched the front. The 3 dogs lined up before me, barking without let. Then a gray shape slid through the trees. Triple A woo. A long wolf howl rang through the whole woods. Junliang's heart dropped, the hairs on his back standing. Bad wolves. We've run into a pack. A single wolf, for fighting power, is only a bit above the fiercest hound. What makes them terrible is the pack. A pack means 7 or 8 at least, and the brutes are clever. Teamwork, clear roles, the lower wolves utterly obedient to the leader. Working together, they'll even square up to a tiger. Before the words were out, Pairs of eyes glowing eerie green lit up one after another behind the grass and tree trunks all around. Without thinking, we pressed back to back, each giving the other his vulnerable spine, knuckles white on the guns. Their grandmothers, Junliang, feeling his grandson's warmth at his back, grinned and cursed instead. Shanha, hunting with you is a real thrill, damn it. He'd been to war, through fire and blade, but ringed by a wolf pack in earnest was a first. 2 proper trips with me, black bear the first, a wolf pack the second. Call it bad luck if you like, but for an old hunter, it was seeing things he'd never seen in a lifetime. 4th granddad, what do we do? My heart slammed, young as I am. A pack works together. They don't come from one direction, but close slow from all sides, hunting your weak point. 2 men, 2 guns, single-shot type 38s that cost time to bolt. Eject the casing, push a fresh round. And in that blink, a starving wolf could be on us, tearing a piece away. Shanha, calm down. You're young, sharp-eyed. Find the wolf king first. Decades of hunting. Even without ever meeting a pack, his experience was priceless. 2 sentences, and my racing heart cooled. I steadied my breath and watched the pack closing in. I counted, about 13. A sizable pack at that. Big cat, all of you back. Round our feet, don't run off. Junliang roared it. Fierce as the 3 dogs were, charging a pack this size was just dying. At the command, they fell back to us, wringing our feet, teeth bared, growling low. I said nothing, eyes flicking through the gloom, searching for the one giving orders, the Wolf King. By the old hunter's lore, on the pack's first probing rush, the true king never goes in himself. He loves to hang back like a general, sending his wolf soldiers to charge. Suddenly, a brawny male charged first, driving off all 4s like a gray arrow loosed, jaws gaping, lunging at me. Crack. No hesitation, I fired. The shot burst in the silence. Not even looking at the result, I flipped my wrist, hooked and pulled, the hot casing out, a fresh round up. Almost the same instant, behind me, Junliang's gun spoke too. 2 wolves trying to ambush dropped, both dead in one shot. Not even a struggle. Large and savage as the pack was, those 2 killing shots cowed it. Animals have a born sense for danger, and seeing 2 of their own dropped clean, 1 shot each, the rest dared not move rashly. Shanha, found the king? Junliang asked low. The remaining wolves had melted into the terrain, one with the grass and trees, waiting on the king's second order. Wolves are patient brutes, hunting especially. One rush failing, they'll outlast the prey, wear it down till it dies on its feet. Big sweat seeped from my brow and slid down. Weeds thick, trees many, light dim. To pick the cunningly hidden king out of all those green eyes was near impossible. 4th granddad. The king's hidden too well, I can't find him. Just as we hit a stalemate, from about 90 degrees off my right hand, deep in the brush, came Xiaoyan's furious, urgent barking. That was Xiaoyan's voice. I snapped the gun toward it, and saw Xiaoyan locked in a savage, tearing fight with a wolf about his own size. That wolf was only upper middling in the pack, and hidden in a spot so sly it had sat right in my blind spot. That was it. I knew at once. This unremarkable wolf was the pack's leader. People tend to think the biggest, strongest, hardest fighting wolf is the king, but it's the reverse. That kind's only in novels. In reality, that one's at most the king's prize enforcer. The true king is usually not the largest, but high-witted, cunning past belief. My mouth curved cold, the muzzle locking steady on the target. Found you. I caught the king's moment of distraction and barked low. Xiaoyan back. Long trained, the command was instinct to him. He broke off without clinging to the fight, a deft turn, claws raking earth, and shot back toward us like an arrow. The king, fixed on the kill, lunged into empty air as its opponent vanished, its whole body now exposed to the muzzle, no cover left. Beasts sense things. A deadly chill shot up its spine, death plainly upon it. In the instant it twisted to find cover, 2 near-overlapping shots burst in the still woods. Crack, crack. The first was Junliang's. 4th granddad had somehow already trained his muzzle this way, eyes hawk sharp. Mine came right after. 2 hot rounds tore the air, front and back, sinking dead true into the king. One blew the crown off its skull, red and white spraying. The other drove into its heart, the force snapping its whole body backward. Bolting my gun, hot casing leaping, I turned in astonishment to fourth granddad. I'd never have guessed that at his age his reaction was this fast, his read on the moment to fire even a shade quicker than mine. The all-conquering king couldn't manage a last wail, only a whimper, and the huge body crashed down, limbs twitching twice, then still. With the leader dead, the pack's whole command collapsed. The rest grew agitated, some even exposing their positions, and I fired without hesitation. Leaderless, they had no idea how to attack, and began crawling slowly back. I was about to keep shooting when Junliang stopped me. Don't. If they find they can't escape, they'll mass and rush us hard. Let them go. I nodded, but didn't lower the gun. About 10 minutes on, Xiaotian and Big Cat and the hounds came back wagging, and only then did we breathe. The pack had all withdrawn. Damn it, a thrill. A real thrill. Junliang sat down hard, red-faced, shouting. More of a thrill than my war days, ha. His nerve was the real thing. Rolled through a storm of gunfire, at ease, even ringed by wolves. With only me today, I'd truly have gone down here. Fourth granddad, you're amazing. Your shot was faster than mine today. Praised. His grin near reached behind his ears. I'm just old. No bragging. But in my young days I'd have cleaned this pack out alone. Believe it? I smiled, thinking inwardly. Up here in the Northeast, the moment any man says no bragging, it means the bragging's about to start. Quite right, fourth granddad, stout as ever in your age. His contentment was past words. The earlier hunts the boy had taken all the glory, the elder reduced to a tag-along. Today, he'd won the face back in front of his grandson. I tell you, you've plenty left to learn. He clapped my shoulder, the air of a senior master. Yes, fourth granddad's right. I nodded along, then turned it. So these wolves, what do we do with them? At wolf meat his lip curled. Wolves eat raw flesh, reek all over, the meat high in amines, foul enough to bring tears to dress. Cooked with great effort it smells passable, but eats bitter and stringy, far below pork, only chokeable down stewed hard with spices. Wolf meat's no eating, cut it off, mince it home for the dogs, he said. The hides and the teeth, though, are worth a little. What people scorn is a feast to dogs. We drew our knives and skinned, the blade opening a heavy reek of blood and beast, and pulled the entrails out for the 4 hounds drooling nearby. Xiaotian and the rest fell on it, eating with relish, bloody-mouthed and not caring. Ho, Shanha, look. This king's no young one. Working the king's body, Junliang cried out, delighted. He pried open its mouth with the knife tip, 2 long thick fangs, sharp-tipped, the roots faintly yellow with age. The valuable wolf teeth mean these 2 longest canines of the upper jaw, a rarity to certain wealthy and official households in the city. Ground and polished into a pendant, they ward off evil and mark status, and the longer the fong and finer the look, the higher the price. We minced the wolf meat into chunks, loaded it with several whole hides onto the sled. Done. I freed a hand to grab Xiaotian's ear, mock angry. Xiaotian, where the hell did you run off to? Near got us both killed, you know that. I tapped his forehead, no heart to use force. He whimpered, aggrieved, flat on the ground, big head drooping, front paws together, like a child made to stand in the corner. Enough, don't scold him, Junliang said, wiping his hands, taking the dog's side. Way I see it, Xiaotian smelled something good. Else, sharp as he is, he'd never charge in this heedless. It woke me up. Right, Xiaotian had been remade by the system. What's like a 5 or 6-year-old child's, his sense for danger keen. For him to act this strangely, braving a wolf pack to drive deep into the Ileo, there was only one explanation. He'd found prey worth tempting him. I crouched and asked, testing, Xiaotian, is that prey still there? Junliang laughed at once. You gone soft in the head? However clever, he's a dog. He can understand that. But the moment it was out, Xiaotian's head snapped up. He barked twice at me, tail wagging eager, eyes full of expectation, scrambled up, wheeled, and ran into the deep woods, then stopped a few steps on and circled back, as if telling us to follow. HSSS, that's downright spooky. Has Xiaotian truly turned into a spirit? I was startled. The dog could follow complex human speech? Fourth granddad, Xiaotian's surely found something good. Let's go look. Wolf saw it in danger. Fresh off the life and death thrill, his blood still up. Junliang, of course, didn't object. Fine, today your old fourth granddad runs wild with you once. One old, one young, we went into the deep woods. Through that stand of trees, Xiaodian suddenly dropped flat, tail wagging hard, not a sound. After these hunts, he understood the work fully now. We crouched too, because 300 meters off, a big herd of musk deer were grazing, heads down. The deer is the northeasterner's name. The proper name is musk deer, and the medicinal musk comes from this beast, and only the bucks have it. We were instantly excited, breath quickening. A fine thing. Cured musk fetched 5 to 10 yuan a gram. A musk pod 50 to 200, and that only the co-op's price. On the black market it at least trebled, depending on quality and the deer's age, with 3 to 7-year-olds yielding the best, highest in medicinal value. Fourth granddad, we're rich, truly rich. A good 20-odd of them here. No wonder Xiaodian charged and heedless. Hush, keep it down. Junliang clapped a hand over my mouth. I'll tell you which to shoot. See that pair of sharp fangs out past the mouth, angling down and out, like little tusks? That's the buck, it's got the musk. I nodded and raised the gun. The Type 38's limit was 400 some meters. The herd was 300 off. Closer, and I'd risk spooking them. I'd learned from the Goral. These things have keen ears. Any stir, and they scatter, fast. We each pick a target. At least 2 down here. Junliang said soft. I nodded, eased the bolt, sighted. Crack, crack. We fired together, and the deer bolted like startled rabbits. The old buck I'd aimed at jerked, as if struck broadside by an unseen hammer, lifted clear off the ground a half instant, then crashed down like a sack with its string cut, hooves twitching twice, still. Junliang's buck was hit too, but didn't drop at once. It staggered a dozen-odd meters before its forelegs buckled, gave a short cry, and rolled into the grass, wailing on. In that flash there was no buck or doe in my eye, only one thought, one more. On instinct, arm and wrist driving together, I swung the muzzle, and on some unfathomable feel fired again at a fleeing deer's back. Crack! A third deer dropped as if tripped, sliding a long way, still. In the space of a hawk's stoop, the herd had vanished into the deep woods. Ha, good lad, you hit it. Junliang slapped his thigh, wrinkles all grinning. I breathed out long, back soaked through. 2 down to me. The first solid, dead through the heart. The second pure luck, but a clean kill. Fourth granddad's shot, age telling on eyes and arms, hit at 300 meters. Itself remarkable, just not in a vital. Xiaodian and the dogs, faster than men, had already shot over, nosing round the 3 down deer, and after confirming no danger barked back at us, wagging like claiming credit. Quick, go look, see our treasures. Junliang hauled me up, his old limbs spry as a youth's, stumbling to the clearing. He went first to the still wailing deer and put a finishing round in its head to end the pain, then crouched, flipped over my first deer, and beamed. Good grandson, look at these teeth. This is an old buck. By the look, 6 or 7 years at least, prime musk time. His rough hands felt between the deer's navel and groin and soon found a soft, pigeon egg-sized swelling, and his face bloomed. Here it is, full and bulging, the musks surely packed in. Fourth granddad, check my other 2. He went down each, looking at teeth, feeling bellies, and judged. Both I'd dropped were musk-bearing bucks, one about 5, prime, and the one I'd hit on feel had longer fangs, bigger build, near 10 years old. Heaven shoving food into my mouth. Ha-ha, good lad. You're a lucky star come down to earth. And this Xiaodian, marvelous. You reward him well later. Give him plenty of meat. He stroked the dog's head, loath to stop. That's the difference a top-head cinema makes. Before, going in alone, meeting one dumb road deer was burning high incense. Never a scene like this. Quick, don't just sit there grinning. Gut them, or they'll spoil in the carcass and the good stuff's all wasted. I drew the knife and carefully opened a deer, but at the precious pod I balked, not daring to touch it. Fourth granddad, how do you take the pod? He grinned, yellow teeth showing. Watch, same principle as my father teaching me to take a bear gall. Fine work. He had me lay the deer on its back, belly up, and with the small knife scored a circle round the pod, cutting only the skin, never piercing the pod itself, then carefully peeled the whole pod off with its thin outer layer. No cutting it open, no leaking, Once the musk runs out, the grade plummets, and it's worth nothing. Musk's a fine thing. These 3 pods, sold to the black market. He held up 2 fingers slow. Worth this much at least. 200. I tried. You're insulting the musk. One sold to the co-op fetches 200. I mean 2,000. I sucked in a cold breath. 2,000. 3 pods, 2,000? Fourth granddad, you're not joking? He grinned. Near enough. I reckoned it. Sell the 3 pods, and I'd have the money for a red brick house. But raising a red brick house in these years wasn't wise. Fourth granddad, let's still sell the bear galls to the co-op. Our money needs a proper source. The times were touchy. An ordinary person needed an honest origin for every sum. Or, others gnawing cornmeal buns while your house ate white flour and rice every day. One report, and it was trouble. All right, 3 pods are enough. Sell everything else to the commune. Junliang nodded, pleased. He'd been about to remind me, and I'd thought of it myself. Come, fourth granddad, let's head back. 3 deer's meat would feed the house-building uncles 10 days. We bound the deer to the sled, me pulling in front, him pushing behind, toward Kaoshan. The sled dragged over mud half-thawed from old snow with a dull scrape. I bent into it, feeling the ache in arms and back, but my mind was clear. Then the cold mechanical voice ran through my head. Common green goat killed. Score, 19. 2 hunting points. 2 common adult gray wolves killed. Scores, 21, 23. For hunting points. Adult wolf king killed. Score, 31. 3 hunting points. Hunting points remaining, 25. I was glad. The system had pinged me on the Goral, but I'd been rushing home and never looked close, and unawares my points had reached 25. Pulling the sled, I asked inwardly, System, can I keep adding to my eyesight? The deer were a strain at distance. Yes. A normal person's visual limit is to see a moving dark dot at 1,500 meters and make out a human outline between 4 and 700. The system can enhance you to see clearly within 800 meters, with maximum vision raised to 2,000. I blinked, so the system wasn't all-powerful. There was a ceiling to enhancing the self. And strength? A ceiling too. By recorded history, the human strength benchmark is Xiang Yu, who lifted a ding cauldron two-handed, roughly 4 to 500 caddies in modern units. The system can strengthen you to 700 caddies, the current known human limit. I bent into the heavy sled, thinking, human power runs out. Even the system could only push me to the peak of the human limit, not past it. And if I want to break past the human limit? I asked on a chance. Insufficient permissions. The system cannot disclose. I started permissions? The system had permission levels? How do I raise my permissions? When your cumulative hunting points reach 50, the system upgrades, and your permissions rise with it. So that's it. A new interest kindled in me. 25, exactly half. A little more, and I'd unlock more of the system's secrets. Back at Kaoshan, before I'd even entered, a crowd gathered under the old locust at the village mouth. Aunties and old women just done in their private plots, chatting. Seeing me drag the sled in, they boiled over and swarmed. Shauna's back. Io took game again. Good lad, you've made it. Let Annie see, what good thing this time. Oh, so this is what they call a musk deer? Doesn't quite look like a roe, Heads craning, spit flying. Junliang's face went stern. He waved a hand and barked, full of wind. Enough, enough, quit crowding. Off you go to your own business. His stern gaze swept round, and they quieted. He cleared his throat and announced loud. Take word home to your menfolk. Shauna's raising a new house. From tomorrow, anyone who comes to help gets 3 meals a day, every meal solid. Meet at midday for certain, and a piece to take home for the kids after. Miss this village, and there's no such inn. It dropped like a boulder into a still lake. Building a house in the village, 2 meals of cornmeal buns and pickles was already decent. 3 solid meals. Meat every meal. Meat to take home? Unimaginable. Heavens, Shauna's building a house? A great happy event. Shauna, who's the girl you've taken a fancy to, in such a rush to build and wed? One Annie asked, waggling her brows. Shauna, how about my elder brother's girl? Pretty, broad-hipped for bearing, just a bit young. Wait 4 years, why such a hurry to marry? I was caught between laughing and crying, and cupped my hands, begging off, calling out, Aunties, all of you. Thank you for the care. I'm already betrothed to Sister Shioli. When the house is done, we'll hold the wedding next spring. Everyone come drink a cup and make it merry. And fearing to be tangled up again, I pulled the sled and, under Juliang's cover, near fled the place. Behind me the gossip fire only burned hotter. Hey, who'd have thought? Su Chui's landed herself such a golden son-in-law. What's to be done? Shanha set his eye on her Shioli. Used to hear Shioli was too proud, set on marrying into the city, looked down on our country boys. And here she's wed in the village after all. If you ask me, a woman just has to accept her lot. I let the talk go past my ears, my heart full of the new home to come. But when I pulled the sled round the last bend to my own gate, the smile froze on my face. I blinked hard, rubbed my eyes. The sight didn't change. The low, run-down mud brick house was gone without a trace, and in its place a patch of ground swept clean and flat. Damn, I gaped and cursed. Where's my whole house? One morning out, and home to no house. Enough, quit wailing like it's a funeral. Auntie Sue came by with a winnowing basket and laughed at my stunned face. This morning your granddad brought people himself. The Zhao family turned out 30-some young, strong men, banging away all morning, tore your wreck down clean and leveled the ground for you. Many hands, much strength. At the headman's call near all the Zhao clan's able men had come out, and in one morning raised my old place flat. I gaped a long while before I came to, and asked, miserable, "Hold on, Auntie Sue. Then where? Where do I sleep? What are you looking at me for? I've nowhere to put you up." Su Chui spread her hands, plain about it. "My place is this small, 3 mud brick rooms. The 2 girls cram into one. Jinglei and little Jingyu the boys share one, and I take the last. Where's there a spot for your foot?" She looked me up and down, half joking. "A grown lad like you can't very well bunk in with an old woman like me. Get that out, and where would I put this old face?" Coarse words, sound sense, and I went red. Then something jolted me, and the worry was plain on my face. "Auntie, never mind sleeping. What about the little Goldie? Where is he?" My hard-won leopard cub had been on the intercom. "Please don't let them have cleared him out as a wild thing when they tore the house down." "Oh, that? I took him to my place. Don't worry. Anything of yours worth keeping, clothes and bedding, it's all at mine." She waved it off, then a fond look crossed her. "Say, Shanha, where'd you get that little thing? That spotted cat of yours is a beauty, gold all over, with markings like copper coins. In all my years I've never seen such a pretty kitten." My scalp prickled. I coughed and leaned in, low, like a thief. "Auntie, that's no cat, that's a leopard cub." Clang. The winnowing basket she'd been holding hit the ground. What? She'd never dreamed I'd dare raise a leopard, a wild beast, grown, wanted to eat people. My Annie, keep it down. The cub's eyes aren't even open. Grown. I'll take him into the hills and bring back even more game. I hurried to explain, afraid she'd pitch her voice up and draw a crowd. "Come, back to your place, quick." She pulled me home, and in the door was Xiaomei feeding Goldie with the bottle. "Heavens, second girl, put it down." Xiaomei frowned, puzzled. "Ma, I'm feeding a cat and you're on at me?" Su Chui slapped her thigh. "What cat? That's a leopard cub." The 2 words hit Xiaomei like a clear sky thunderbolt. She froze, the bottle nearly slipping, turned slow, face gone from flush to white, and looked at me, voice trembling. "No, surely not. Brother Shauna, isn't this a spotted cat?" I sighed, went over, and carefully lifted Goldie from her stiff arms. "It is a leopard cub. I found it in the hills. Its mother's gone." She sucked in a breath, stunned, a live wild beast, and Brother Shauna's nerve to keep such a thing at home. Just then the curtain lifted and Shioli came out with a dish, a lovely flush rising on her fair cheeks at the sight of me, head ducked shy. "Shanha, the meal's ready. Wash up and eat." I smiled gently, set Goldie on the warm Kong, and went out to drag the heavy sled into the yard. "Auntie, Shioli." I patted the load. 3 musk deer here, meat still fresh. And I bought cornmeal and white flour at the black market the other day. It's all here. I pointed at the bloody slabs. "Auntie, the deer meat I'll trouble you with. Plenty of seasoning, stew it good and soft, to give the uncles helping with my house a proper meal." She beamed at the solid meat and grain. "Leave it to me, you'll see. Oh, and the cloth I cut." I pulled a fresh bolt from under the sled. "For you, and Shioli, and Xiaomei, a new set of clothes each. Her eyes near vanished into her grin. She felt the cloth, thick, a rare good weave. These years, never mind new clothes. Even a decent cloth coupon wasn't sure at New Year. Her eye hadn't failed her. The boy truly treated them as his own. Good child, truly. This old frame can wear old things. No need to waste the good stuff. Let you and Shirley have it. You're marrying soon. You should look proper. Auntie, I said, Granny's making me a bearskin coat from the bear hide. I'll wear that into the hills come winter. Ordinary clothes don't keep the cold out. You're getting on. Get yourself a good padded jacket. You'll be warm in winter, won't you? Her eyes went damp. The boy knew how to care for a person, and she pulled Shioli and Shomei over. She drew a breath and spoke heavy. Shanha, I'll tell you a thing. Both my girls have set their hearts on you. Dead set. No one else will do. I've asked them both. The second says she'd rather be your lesser one than marry another. The eldest is soft, but she's agreed too. Her eyes burned at me. Now it's up to you. If you've no objection, just nod and let the second girl be your side wife. How's that? I stood blank, head buzzing. Can this be right? These years, in a remote hill village especially, the old plural marriage custom still surfaced now and then, but everyone did it on the quiet. No one dared put it in the open. The new society's law plainly forbade it, and caught by those above, a bullet wasn't out of the question. Then again, Kaoshan, high in the hills, far from the emperor, 100,000 li from the county seat. 2 full days, even by donkey cart, truly no one to mind. Before I came out of the shock, Shomei had flushed red, stepped up, and shouted with everything she had. Zhao Shanha, I, Zhao Shomei, am set on you this life. If you marry my sister and not me, I'll hang myself from the beam of your new house. A bold, fierce girl, to say so shocking a thing aloud in front of everyone. And just so to prove her do-or-die resolve. I looked at that pear blossom in rain face, fixed as iron, then at Su Chui's tacit blessing, and at Shioli with her head all but buried in her chest, and the last of my hesitation went. With even Annie Su agreeing, how could I harden my heart and refuse? Wound these 2 women over it, and what kind of man was I? I drew a breath, my gaze steadying. Auntie, since you've said as much, and Shomei and Shioli are both willing, I, Zhao Shanha, lay it down here today. With the 2 of them following me, I'll never let them suffer the least wrong as long as I live. Su Chui's tears fell like a broken string of beads. She swiped at them with the back of her hand, couldn't stop them, and finally pressed a hand to her mouth, choked. Auntie believes you. Good child, truly a good child. Shomei beamed and shook her sister's arm, while Shioli, all tenderness, patted her mother's back in silent comfort. A warm current rose in me too. I said it solemnly. Auntie, my parents died early. In this village, the elders closest to me are 4th granddad and granny. Tomorrow I'll have Granny come in person to ask for your daughters. Every proper rule will be kept, not one left out. In these years, the rules weighed more than the sky. The higher the matchmaker's standing, the heavier their name. The more it showed the man's side prized the match, and the more face the woman's family held before the village. Out from Shioli's, a stone off my heart. It was late, and with no house of my own, I went straight to 4th granddad's. In the yard, he sat on the threshold smoking, the ember winking in the dark. Knew you'd come to me once you'd settled things. I've cleared the west room out for you, beddings, all new. He'd heard the wind and reckoned I'd come. Warmed, I grinned over. Thanks, 4th granddad. I set my bundle down and asked low, are we still going to the black market tonight? The musk pods were on my mind. A great treasure, and only turned to solid money in my pocket would my heart truly settle. He drew hard on the pipe, knocked it on his shoe sole, and shook his head. Grandson, let me teach you another lesson. We who hunt, who work the hills, fear nothing so much as flashing wealth. Remember it, never show your money. The black market's crowded, eyes everywhere, no telling who's marked you. Short on life experience, eager to be rid of the goods, I'd forgotten that. Even with 8th Uncle Jammin's people there, selling such precious things at the black market 2 days running, someone might well turn wicked. All right, your way, we'll go in a month. He nodded, pleased. And from now, buy at the co-op where you can, and sell the cheaper things to the co-op too. The black market, go as little as you can. A place that shuns the light. If caught, prison at the least, a bullet at the worst. I understand, Fourth granddad. Money had dazzled me. The black market prices truly were absurdly high, but that money scalds the hand. The co-op was different. Lower prices, but it stood up to scrutiny, and the heart was at ease. Anything not especially precious, I'd sell to the co-op from now on. Then, fourth granddad, I'll sell the wolf hides, the wolf teeth, and the bare bones to the co-op now. He thought, keep the bare bones. I know an old herb doctor. Have him steep a bare bone wine. The deer and wolf hides, sell. I wrapped the hides in the rag and went to the co-op. The co-op of this era was something fearsome, and as for service, there was none. I walked in my rough clothes, and before I'd spoken, the clerk frowned. What do you want? I didn't take offense. That was the temper of the times. I'm not buying. I want to ask, do you take goods? She eyed my get-up, plainly a villager. And what could a villager have but woven baskets, straw sandals? Don't take any, off you go. Now I was annoyed. You don't even ask what I'm selling before saying no? No wonder the black market ran wild. With a clerk's attitude like that, hell with it. Hold on, comrade, what's this attitude? I only asked whether you take goods, like I'd killed your husband. What? Isn't it the people who run things now? The volley enraged her. You unfledged little brute. Daring to act up in here. Out, or I'll call people. I laughed. Sheer speechlessness will do that. So this was the swagger of certain people in this age. Call them? Good, go on. And call your director out while you're at it. I'd like to ask just what gives your co-op the nerve to tell the people to get out. The shrill arguments soon stirred the office. A middle-aged man in a mouse suit came out fast, black-faced. What's this? Squabbling like a din. This is the co-op, not your village gate. Before I could speak, the clerk got her accusation in first, pointing at me. Director, this man's here to make trouble. His brow nodded. Bold these days, to come stir up grief on co-op ground, daring to make trouble at the co-op? His eyes went unkind. I let the cold smile deepen and, ignoring her, looked the director in the eye, neither cringing nor overbearing. Comrade, you're the director? From the door to just now, I asked exactly one thing. Do you take goods? But your clerk here, without asking what I meant to sell, said no outright and told me to get out. I'd just like to ask, even the leadership up top has said this is the people's country, long live the people. What? At your co-op the rules change. A clerk's mightier than the leadership, daring to tell the people to get out of the people's co-op. I'd brought out the most powerful magic of the age. His face changed at once, brow shooting up as he sized me up anew. The boy looked an ordinary farmer. How did such words come out of his mouth? Clear, ordered, every line a big hat dropped on you. No common person talks like that. He rounded on the clerk, furious. What the hell happened? Is what he says true? The bellow cracked like thunder, and the clerk shuddered. The haughty face went paper white, the blood gone. She looked at me, then at the director, terrified, lips working, throat stoppered, not a word out. Only meaningless, and a fine cold sweat at her temples. Comrade, calm down, calm down. Director Wang Chung came up fast, a spring-warm smile already in place, as if the stern leader who'd just roared at his subordinate were another man entirely, sliding himself between me and the clerk to part the tension. My surname's Wang, Chung the given name. Rest assured, I'll give you a satisfactory accounting of this. Look, a long trip out here isn't easy. Let's see to business first. You came to sell, no? Come, let's look at the goods. The whole of Fent Township had only this one co-op. There was no going round it. Since he'd offered the step, I'm not one to press an advantage past reason. We'd be dealing for years to come. I've got some wolf hides, wolf teeth, and such. See if you'll take them. I unwrapped the rag. Wang Cheng's eyes lit. He stroked the hides. Good, truly good. One hide had not a single bullet hole, and at that flawless pelt and the sharp teeth he couldn't look away. Rarities, passed up to those above. He shot the clerk a hard look, then turned back smiling. Comrade, you're a hunter? Only hunters or their kin bring such hill goods. I a problem? I admitted it plainly. For a long working relationship, hiding it would only look poor. No problem at all. He waved, his curiosity heavier. Only several hides, all in such good shape. Surely you didn't take them all alone, young comrade? I shook my head and let a touch of afterfright show. How could I? I went in with an elder of mine, ran into bad luck, a wolf pack. We barely got our lives back, dropped a few of the brutes on the way out. I kept fourth granddad's warning close. Never flash wealth, so I hadn't brought the deer hides at all. Everyone knows the valuable thing off a deer is the musk. Sell only the hide and not the musk. And where's the musk gone? The black market or kept to breed? Nothing would explain. I thought I'd kept it modest, but to Wang Chung it was a thunderclap. Meet a wolf pack and come out whole, and drop several wolves besides. What concept was that? A near-divine man. 3 to 5 seasoned-old hunters would skirt a pack. He didn't hunt, but he'd heard the old saying, a brave man can't withstand a wolf pack. Young comrade, these hides and teeth, I'll take them all. Come, talk price in my office. I followed him in. He poured me water, all smiles. Young comrade, truly a hero from the young. He could tell my air was different. He'd soldiered once, and he caught the faint blood smell on me, and that thread of killing intent ordinary people couldn't sense. Wang Chung was certain. I'd seen blood, and shot many a quarry by my own hand. Comrade, weren't we talking price? His staring made me uneasy. Huh, price is easy. 18 yuan a hide. The teeth are good too, 2 yuan each, all right. Jun Liang had given me the rough rates before I came. A top hide ran only 18. The director was a fair man, or perhaps, after the clerk's poor manners, he didn't beat the price down to keep me as a customer. Fine at that price. I rose to go, but he called me back. What, something else? He smiled, went and shut the door, sat back down. Don't rush off, young comrade. How about we talk a private bit of business? I frowned, then half understood, and didn't fuss. What do you want to talk about? I know you're a hunter. Can you take some fierce beasts? Price is easy, of course. Veiled, but I caught it. Fierce beasts. Which? Leopard, lynx, wolf, jackal, or failing those, a boar will do. Uncommon in the hills. He didn't name black bear or big paw, not thinking me able to take those. That's down to luck. A whole year, and you might not get one. I didn't shut the door on it. I wanted to test whether his aim was what I guessed. Long a co-op director, he heard the brush off, set his teeth, and said, young comrade, I'll be straight. Some people up top like to collect such beasts. Get me one by month's end, and so long as the price isn't wild, I can meet whatever you want. Just so, the fellow meant to curry favor above. As for why month's end, I had it near enough. Director Wong, I can't fully promise. I'll only say I'll try. How's that? No trouble to him. A hunter doesn't always come home loaded. Most trips bring nothing. A roe deer's a good day. He wanted me to take it seriously, and a man who could take wolves had the ability and the nerve. Of course, I await your good news. Wang Chung settled up briskly, counting the money over careful. 4 top hides at 18, 72. 8 sharp teeth at 2, 16. 88 in all, a great sum to any ordinary family in this age. I tucked the fresh notes away without much stir, then wandered the co-op and spent a full 8 yuan on sorghum, cornmeal, and golden millet. 8 yuan, a heavy 100 caddies of grain. To a farmer who worries over the next meal, that's life itself. I let no one help, slung the huge sack up one-handed. The 100 caddies felt light as a feather on me, and I walked out steady under the astonished eyes of the co-op members. On the road back, cook fire smoke curling, the build site still loud with voices. I carried the grain first to Shioli's and set it in the yard corner with a dull thud. Su Chui, washing rice, turned at the sound, saw me and the great sack, and her face bloomed. Auntie, you've had the trouble of cooking for everyone these days. I dusted my hands, earnest. I figured I can't let you toil for nothing. How about I give you 10 yuan a month for your effort? Most of the builders were Zhao Qin, my uncles by seniority. Since I'd said 3 solid meals a day, everyone had to be real food, not one skimped. 100 caddies looked like much, but 30-some strong men would burn through it in 3 days at most, though a mud brick house goes up fast with hands enough, and a month at the outside would see the new home done. At that her bloom dropped. She thumped the rice basin down, water leaping, and jabbed a finger at my nose. Shanha, what rot are you talking, you little wretch? I treat you as my own son-in-law now. Working for your own son-in-law, and still putting a hand out for money? Where under heaven's that the way of it? You want the whole village pointing at my spine, calling Su Chui a no-good? Spit flying, every word warm. I rubbed my nose, rye. Poor in goods, these times, but feeling between people was true heart for true heart, not a drop false. A son-in-law's half a son, no idle saying. A mother-in-law sees more to love in him the longer she looks. Shirley came out with a basin of washed greens, saw it, and came over smiling to smooth things. Shanha, that's just Ma's temper. Soft-voiced. We 3 women are here. We'd never let the uncles work on empty bellies. I sighed and nodded. These years, offer money and no one takes it. The common folks' hearts are plain enough to warm yours. I went and played with Goldie a while. Then, as if remembering, Su Chui wiped her hands and brought out a big clay basin. Bear paw, cured in spices. Shanha, look, the bear paw's near taken the flavor. I'll steam it shortly, fragrant enough you'll swallow your tongue. Don't sit idle. Run to the headmans. Call them all over. Let everyone taste this precious thing. I smiled and nodded. Bear paw was a true rarity. Never mind the headman. Even a county magistrate mightn't have had the luck to taste it. After lunch, with nothing pressing and the men gone home for their noon rest, tired from the morning, I lay down on Jinglei's bed and slept hard. When I opened my eyes, the sun outside was down to its last red, about to sink behind the western hills. Shanha, you're awake. A gentle, shy voice at my ear. I turned groggily, and there was Xiaomei on a low stool by the bed, bright eyes fixed on me without a blink, an affection she couldn't hide, so absorbed she hadn't noticed her own pretty face had gone red as a ripe apple. Embarrassed under the look, I sat up. It's near dark. I'll go call everyone to eat. I made to rise, near fleeing, but the moment I moved, a snow-white arm gently barred me. No need. I already sent Jinglei to call them. She caught my arm, her heart near leaping out of her throat, pounding. A grown man, in the deep hills all day, wind and sun. How's his skin fairer than a girl's? Her cheeks burned the more she thought it, but her hand wouldn't let go, drew closer, even. So near. A girl's own faint sweetness and the warmth of her wound into my breath. I'm an 18-year-old in his prime, hot-blooded. How do you stand your sweetheart's near-teasing closeness? A heat shot up from my belly through every limb. Xiaomei, you're playing with fire. My voice had gone rough. I pulled my arm free and with the motion brought her down, pinning the gasping Xiaomei to the bed. The world spun and her heart broke loose. Chest heaving with quick breath, her own pulse drumming in her ears. Eyes met eyes, feeling running deep. Her gaze swam, and slowly her eyes closed, long lashes trembling. I couldn't hold back and bent to kiss her, soft, yielding lips with a trace of sweetness, and the blood in me roared. But just as it carried us further, she came suddenly to herself. She pressed my hands still with all her strength, voice gone tearful and pleading. Not yet. After we're married, all right. She hadn't reckoned I'd be so bold, so direct, and this was on her brother Jinglei's bed. In her own room, door shut, perhaps she'd have half yielded. But now her mother and sister were busy at supper just the other side of the wall, the clatter of pots playing, and little Jingyu playing in the mud out in the yard, liable to run in any moment. In such a setting she couldn't, for anything, go the last way with me. Then what the hell were you teasing me for just now? I was near bursting, on fire. What a tormenting little sprite this woman was. Seeing my flushed, near-flaming face, she was torn between pity and fear, bit her lip, red enough to bleed, and said, thin as a gnat, that she'd help me another way. I'll fade out here. The scene closes on the two of them, the rest left to the imagination.